Dance.
Two-piece, and that's what we need to see.
This yokai combination has been absolutely phenomenal, and he'll outlive the Montaigne. Getting in the face and trying to win the gunfight. He will do it. Yes! Tucano will come out on top. The smoke will go far enough to stop them from swinging out. They're trying to stick the plant. They're trying to get close enough.
The Shoxel is there, and Salim all alone. He might have enough to get this job done.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Voltage series, and I am Erebos. Here with me is Whiskey Glitter. Whiskey, how you doing?
Not too bad. Excited to be back in Voltage. It's been a while. My first cast with you. I think these are going to be some bangers, best of ones.
Yep, we have 3 on the cards today on play day number 7. Going to be halfway through the play days in the group stage, and 6 of these teams looking to go through into the playoffs. Already have 2 teams that are out of the gates pretty hot, Geek and Divoli. Divoli going to play today. Geek and UAIM already played their play day 7 match, but our first match up today going to be Team VIP up against Wisteria. Both teams towards the lower half of the leaderboard. So looking to pick up points and try and jumpstart their journey to the playoffs.
Yeah, kind of a big one for these guys today, right? Both kind of bottom of the barrel gameplay so far, as they've just taken considerable losses across the board. Seems to be some themes involved there, where some of those bigger maps tend to be a little bit of a little tougher for both of these teams to put together. So what are we looking for today? Looking for some better communication between the teams, maybe a little bit of some target banging, and hoping that Aim Labs pays off.
Yeah, for sure. Team VIP up against Wisteria. It's going to be a banger. Honestly, both of these teams need a win to make sure that they have a chance in the playoffs. Team VIP still on 0 points. Not where they want to be here at this point, at this stage, but is not too late to turn it around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the story is really going to get told for these two teams on, like, specifically where are we going to be going, because you can see there are some big themes in the losses that they're taking. We're looking at VIP. Twice they've lost on Consulate. Twice they lost on, let's see. Man, it's just losses across the board. Nighthaven, the textbook clubhouse, just not going their way as well. So really, I mean, if we're looking at map pools here, we're going to need to see something out of the norm, I'm thinking.
Yeah, definitely need to see something a little bit different for Team Wisteria. They're only a couple points behind that 6th place spot, so they have every opportunity here, especially with the game up on UAIM, as UAIM already played their Playday 7. If they even get it to overtime, they can manage to tie up with UAIM in terms of points, so it's really going to be interesting to see if they can make that happen, and if they can make their statement here and try and pass up UAIM.
And so, let's take a quick look here at the standings. Where does everybody sit? You're talking about number 1. You're talking about the last place. Well, you said it. Geek sitting alone at the top, just being that dominant force, as you've heard said, right? The T1 gatekeepers trying to keep every T2 player out of it. Well, they're doing a fantastic job here.
Yeah, but one thing to note, Divoli, with still a game to play in this play day, can leapfrog Geek. So at the end of the day, we could be looking at Divoli in first place, up by 3 points over Geek, which would be massive for them. And then slightly behind them, Myth and Panu going up against each other. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not Myth can take a significant advantage and give themselves all of the opportunity to make it through to the playoffs. Still going to be a tough road to make it into that top 2, but still very much doable with the second half of the double round robin to come through. And then towards the middle, it's going to be a fight for that 5th and 6th place spots.
Man, so close together are these teams in the play days today, or in the day today, that these games could legitimately be absolute bangers. I mean, you've got the unfortunate fight for the bottom. You've got that mid-off with Myth and Pan in the middle. And then Divoli, you said, has just been on an absolute tear, and they've got to take on the number 5th place, who's still fighting for their spot towards against UAM as well. So I don't know, man. I'm pretty excited about what's going to go down today, especially because it feels like as we start to get a little bit later on, it's really going to be impactful that you claim some of those points.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we have the map bands ready. So if we go ahead and take a look at the map bands, see what map we're going to be playing on for Wisteria up against Team VIP. And we're going to Chalet. Chalet is an interesting one because it's extremely aggressive. There's a lot of different ways to play this map, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly why Team VIP opted against Clubhouse, or rather, why Wisteria opted against Clubhouse and went for Chalet.
You know, Chalet has kind of fallen out across the board as the once loved go-to map, right? Chalet used to be seen just all over the place. Both of these teams, I believe, well, at least for sure, Wisteria has taken a loss on Chalet already. But it kind of lends itself to that first meta change that we saw, where second floors started becoming, or the middle floors started becoming that go-to option, right? You can change your primary and your secondary around, but a huge focus on taking the middle floor and then holding onto the vertical, and whoever does that better today is going to walk away with the W.
Yeah, it feels like both of these teams are at least comfortable enough on Chalet to let it get to Chalet. Both of the teams have played Chalet, with Team Wisteria playing it twice, losing twice, Team VIP playing it once, losing once. But all of those matches were really close fought, 4-7 and 2-5-7. So definitely anybody's game here. Both of these teams should be used to Chalet, should know what they're doing, and should have a pretty close fought match here.
Honestly, I'm surprised that Consulate and Nighthaven made it so far in that ban phase, given the performance of both of these teams on both of those maps. So really just kind of seeing who's going to make that final call on getting rid of the ones that they're both bad at. But you said it, 3 best of ones today. Team VIP taking on Wisteria, and then Myth Esports taking on Pan, and then at the top, Cicadas taking on Diavoli. These 3, I think, for best of ones, I think I'm more excited about the Myth Esports game. I'm feeling like that one's going to go for the gusto.
Yeah, definitely. And that is why it is our match of the day. It's going to be our last match of the day as well. Cicadas and Diavoli, definitely a pretty decent rivalry between those two teams. They've played quite often against each other, with both of the teams taking wins at different times. So it's going to be really interesting to see if Cicadas can actually take down Diavoli and maybe give GK a better shot at claiming that first place spot, or will Diavoli just continue rolling through the group stage and claim another win?
Man, it's kind of like, who in the world do you want to win that scenario, right? Do you want the Giants taken down, or do you want to see who should be sitting at the top? Today's game can definitely determine that. Prediction-wise, looks like we're a bit split across the board here.
Yeah, I ended up going for Team VIP in this first match. They made a couple roster changes. Hopefully they come in strong, looking good, and try and right the ship, as well as Cicadas. Maybe today is their day to take down Diavoli, and then Myth looking really good, as well as Pandu looking really good. But, I mean, that one is kind of up in the air. It is anybody's game.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how split the predictions are here. It just means that both teams are bringing some high caliber gameplay today, and it really could be just anybody taking it.
Yeah, exactly. And let's go ahead and look at these team stats. We got Team VIP. Mateen is the leader of this group in terms of those kills. If Mateen shows up, there is every possibility that Team VIP walk away with a win today. Need Boltan to pick up the pace a little bit, get some of those frags, be a little bit more consistent, as well as some of those other players.
Yeah, the big stat that's standing out to me here is survivability, right? It is fairly low across the board, and that can lend itself to some very dominant score lines not going in your favor. So you said it, Mateen sitting at that 22%. He's got the highest likelihood to be the win con towards the end of the game. Everybody else fairly run-of-the-mill, fairly standard with each other, 15, 15, and a 17%. So yeah, entry battle needs to be won, and I think maybe pro strat, keep yourself alive.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and take a look at Team Wisteria, and it looks a little bit similar, which makes sense considering that both of these teams are towards the bottom of the standings. Pozo, the key player here for the side of Wisteria, need Null to pick it up, get that survivability higher like you're talking about, get those kills up, make sure that consistency stays, and hopefully the rest of the team can follow suit.
Yeah, if we're talking survivability, they have almost doubled it here, Erebos, right? On almost all the way across the board. The highest that we saw was a 22% survival rate on the side of VIP, and that gets toppled by even Nolf sits at that 28%. So one of the things that Wisteria is just doing a better job is being alive when the round is over. And of course, if you're an absolute gunner, if you got some solid strats, hold up, if your communication is just on fire, the power of friendship will see you through as long as you are all alive in the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree, but I mean, we can talk about stats all we like, but I think that the players are all in the lobby, all ready to go. So hopefully we can get this started as soon as we can.
Okay, so if our first match, Erebos, is going to Chalet, and I'm a little less familiar with the EU scene, of course, than you guys are here. What is the big takeaway here? Is Chalet going to be that big dominant performance? Is it extensions vertically? What's our primary? Are we looking at top floor, basement? Because you can really tell a lot about the teams by how they're taking on Chalet.
So a lot of these teams love to play it completely different from each other. All of these teams have these key strats that they want to utilize and set in place. One thing that I'm looking from both of these teams is consistency across the board. I want to see them play aggressive, but not play too aggressive and just give their lives away completely for free. I want to see them play with coordination and consistency. I think that is the key takeaway for both of these teams, really is just consistency, because we saw across the board for their stats, the survivability on Team VIP, it is extremely low. It's not consistent, and we need to see that if they want to make their way into the playoffs. For Wisteria, it's a little bit more consistent. They have 5 points compared to the 0 of Team VIP, but we just need to see them do that day in and day out. It's not enough for them just to have one single good day. They need a majority of their days to be good days to make it into the playoffs and get enough points to be there. And on Chalet, on a map that is so, I guess, random, a lot of these teams play completely differently. They have their own styles, so they just need to be consistent in how they play it so that they don't get caught out by something that the other team just pulls out of their pocket,
Yeah, that seems super fair. And like, if I'm looking at the last place teams in the standings and they're going head to head here, the big key word that is going to be for me that I'm going to be looking for throughout this game is adaptation. Right? It seems like when you're in a worse position on the standings, it's because some of the things have become a little bit predictable, right? So when you get into that situation, it's time to, of course, head back to the drawing board. And how can you make some of those victories just a little bit better? Don't play the way you played before. We're talking about bring about the game that you played against Sicko, where you're on Night Haven, you take it all the way to the overtime. Double overtime scenario and just try to switch it up. Target ban, get some operators in there. Either way, it's game time.
Yeah, and it's very, very exciting. Chalet, definitely a very chaotic map, a very aggressive map. So hopefully we come out of the gate hot. Hopefully we get some spawn peaks. We get a little bit of action, maybe something like a Nook just creeping up the basement stairs towards this top floor if we end up there. But into the bans, Monty going first, Kaid following suit. How do you think about these bans? What do you think? What do you expect for the next bans?
Well, it gives me a little bit of pause because Chalet is not really a shield-heavy map, right? You're not using Monty to take up a ton of space, and yes, it's a viable option, but shield's not necessarily the big bane of existence here on Chalet, unless you're just really not wanting to deal with them as, of course, VIP completely, totally is. We're going to see the Blackbeard and the Monty gone, and then on the other side of it, Clash as well. So neither team really wanting to take on that spearhead role. Instead, Erebos, we're going to start on Bar Gaming for round number 1.
Yeah, and I really like this choice for the round, for the bomb site. I think that it's extremely strong to defend as long as you can hold onto this top floor. Now, I know in a lot of different regions, especially NA, they do not like holding on to this top floor in the tier 2, tier 3 space. But
no, that's a standard here.
I'm really hoping that we see something exciting for this top floor. I'm hoping to see things like this Jaeger ADS catching out these projectiles, hold on to this library spot, and put the side of Wisteria. I'm really hoping to see a Capital being brought on board here because it's extremely powerful in clearing out some of these spots.
Yeah, specifically that corner up in the top of library, right? You just make it difficult to get in there, especially with the Jaeger, especially now that those Jaegers can catch those catapults. So, yeah, gonna have to rely on maybe some of those grenades to get it done. IQ's got a couple in pocket as well, and there's a double duty here up inside of the library. Mira not banned out, kind of a potentially huge miss here by the attacking team. Mira's just a difficult operator to get past. You have to bring along something that's going to be able to take it out. The only thing, the double duty that we brought for it, Twitch and Ace, going to be trying to get in. You can see the Twitch drone now coming in from the back and already about to forfeit one of those drones.
Yeah, losing one of those Twitch drones extremely early, but Jono able to take down Pozo, so that is going to be this first blood coming through the Brava, going to the wayside. So these Melusi gadgets, but Hauxi up the stairs, able to take down Jono, and another Neos comes in and takes down Zyro. So it is going to be a man advantage here for the attacking side, but evened up very quickly by Bolt, and Team VIP do not want to get this up already.
Onto the first round is already seeing some incredible back and forth here. As you just saw, IQ just make their way right in and walk. Nolf's going to take Mix off the board, and that's going to take the main advantage now into the hands of Wisteria. As they're holding on by one, looking to solidify a first round one. Big thing, they're going to have to get past this C4 that's rocking double duty, and a Vector to the very same. So they've done the work. Now they got to start checking off those pre-plant boxes.
Yeah, Twitch drone getting some work done, getting some default cameras, getting the mute jammer as well. This top floor completely given up by the side of Team VIP, which they are at a man disadvantage. So back off, go down to site, play the clock, try and pitch them out. Maybe they're not looking in, and C4 does just that. It's evened up. 2 versus 2 in the hatch. Might just be a death sentence for a player that might just over peak, and the peak comes through, and the kill comes through as well. Boltan picks it up, but Maryland trades. It's down to the 1v1. Maryland up against Ace. The mute up against the DMR, and the DMR takes him down. The first round goes over to Wisteria. And Glitter, we are just getting started, and if this is how we're starting, then I am happy about that.
Man, you can't beat it when it comes down to a 1v1 showdown, right? And that's exactly what came down to it. VIP did a great job, claimed an early man advantage, and then was doing a wonderful job with the Mira, a C4 and a Vector kill to close us up, but it just wasn't meant to be, right? It wasn't going to be the clutch miracle. It was a Wisteria mandate, and they claim that vertical, and they claim round number 1.
I completely agree. I love the clear out of that top floor from the side of Wisteria, methodically, and the IQ going in, getting aggressive, going up the stairs, and just taking out the holder of library, making it chaotic, making it uncomfortable for the defense. That is what you have to do on a site like Bar Gaming. You have to make it extremely uncomfortable for the defense to make it as easy as possible for you to clear out everybody.
Well, did a good job on that for round number 1. And so what do? We talked about in the pre-show adaptation needing to be the play of the game here, right? If you're wanting to walk away with the W. They're going to take it back to Bar Gaming, have that sense, that feeling that, hey, we can do this. It came down to a 1v1. That could have been our round. So they're going to run it back, chat, and this time they're going to do it with the Architect on board, right? A zombie going to help solidify some of that static hold, really try to dig in on that trench warfare.
Yeah, and already the Brava having so much more success than they did last time. Getting that Melusi gadget, getting the Wub, and going to try and get one more. We see 2 charges already used on that mirror window being set up fairly late on into this round, but we're back in Bar Gaming. Hopefully, for the side of Team VIP, they can change it up. Their adaptation is better, but no, Boltan goes down early. That's the Azami going down. So many Kiba barricades just going to be left in pocket in this library. Look, it's completely open. It's just a lone warden on the top of the main stairs. And it's going to be all to do for this warden.
Man, a tough position to find yourself in. The frag leader already taken off the board. And the rest of the team outside of the aforementioned Warden remains killless already. So a good chance for them to get active. Now the attack, Wisteria, they just need to get some drones in, and you can see they're taking a look right now, taking up some critical space as they've already made their way into Master.
The peak going to come through. Shield completely blocking this push off. It's going to take some nades, going to take some utility to try and get rid of this position, but no nades are present for the side of Wisteria. So this shield should be lasting quite long into this round. So it's going to take some smokes, maybe some flashes, try and push this player off of this position, try and get in deep, try and get this control, as Wamai is just so annoying. Just going to delete all of this utility. And there's just not going to be enough if they keep wasting it like this. But still have a little bit in pocket. Zyro able to take down a player. And no, Zyro with a double kill. Swinging favor back towards the side of Team VIP. And another one coming from Jono, as it's only Nolf left up and available as the team with the shotgun. Taking down Neos. And this is the bounce back that we wanted out of Team VIP to make this a competitive map.
Oh man, Nolf able to claim one though, so now into a 1v3 scenario. You're gonna find yourself with Ace all to do, and Strats left here into the bin, takes a pre-fire onto the hatch, but will not be rewarded. Yeah, this was a different defense than round number 1. And even though like much of it was the same, the attitude, the pressure, the presence of mind, the holding on to the kills at the end, making sure you solidified your kill instead of taking a couple of pre-fire, it just looked better. And because of that, we find ourselves tied up 1-1, and we just got ourselves a game.
Down onto the kitchen and dining room bomb site, still staying on that first floor. So this top floor is just going to be all about the control, all about this verticality and making sure that they can't get that diffuser down early, can't rush the bomb site. It'll be interesting. This bomb site is usually a little bit difficult to attack if you can't actually get that top floor control.
Yeah, sitting into that meta, right? And the fact that we still have the Mira on the board means that this hold can be quite devastating. Now, the big question for me is, where are these Miras going, right? You've got several different strats that you can bring up to hold on to the long game, both above and below. One of my favorites recently has been the space inside of the closet up top as that primary Mira hold position, but also, you know, Mira lately has been being put onto the main breach, and it just makes it more difficult to use your hard breaches to get it opened up. Allows for impact tricking, doesn't allow your thermites to get close or anybody with can openers on it. And there it is. There's the Mira in the closet. It's going to be put down as a deployable, basically, in a crouch position, which means you're going to have some chances to get some nasty little fires as people try to push there.
Yeah, but this Twitch already picking off one of these Mira windows, and it's why teams don't really feel so obliged to ban out the Mira. There are a lot of different ways to actually deal with it. Ash, Kali, Twitch, Ace Hibana. So teams feel like they can deal with the Mira unless proven wrong. So I do like that they left the Mira open and utilized the Twitch to perfect effect, getting one of those Miras down. Still have one to go, but still have an extra Twitch drone in pocket as well as the one that is out on the field.
Torch is ready.
Yeah, Mira is good for that. The big thing about bringing a Mira along is you're forcing the attackers to bring somebody that maybe they might not necessarily have done so, right? A Twitch, a Ash, a Kali, any of the aforementioned operators are going to deal with Mira. So you're forcing the attackers' hands, which could put them into a disadvantageous situation. Ace open up onto the top of Mez so they can start to put some pressure, push them off that vertical hold, which means we can just get that main wall opened up, and now they got themselves in a good position to potentially start getting an execute going down. Gonna see a quick trade. Bandit and IQ both have their life forfeit, but when the dust settles, we're tied up 4-4.
Yeah, and I really like the adaptation here out of Team Wisteria. As though Hauxi goes down, that is going to be that Maverick that I was about to talk about. Able to get this top breach open with that Maverick being brought on board. Deals with the Bandit nicely, ends up taking down the Bandit, but the man disadvantage here, under a minute now, and Merlin able to take down Jono, so it's going to be even man count now. 3v3, no IQ, no Maverick, no Blitz, and no Tuberau. This bottom breach going to get opened up, so Kitchen going to have these long angles to see all the way through, but this flank down towards this basement might just be able to catch somebody out.
Yeah, and they removed the drone from it already. So Zyro, the potential to have the impact play, a little bit of a lurk on the fireplace stairs. They've opened up onto the breach, right? So now all they have to do, they've solidified vertical. They've opened up. Now they can get themselves ready for an execute. The big player, Valkyrie, could be the huge impact here. Holding on to the angle. You're going to see the first get taken down. Valkyrie gets sussed out, and that's main advantage over to Wisteria now with 12 seconds left. As it starts to count down, Pozo takes one as they're able to find the headshot now to a 3-1 as it starts going down. They're looking for that C4, but just bullets from everywhere, nowhere to go, and that's going to be an attacker round win.
Yeah, a really beautiful round there out of Wisteria, able to take down all of these members to perfect effect, and I really, really like the way that they played that. They played it so concisely, so comfortably, able to get those breaches open, which just made things so much easier. It made the verticality so much harder to play.
Agreed. Step 1, take vertical. Step 2, open up the main. Step 3, plant. And that's exactly what went down. They handled it beautifully. So when the last bands come through here for the back half of the first match, Malusi and Brava taken off the board. And that's been a fun back and forth that we've had already through these first 3 rounds. Has been what gadgets can Brava get a hold of? In this case, it was those Banshees. And now, not going to be able to do it at all. So with those first 2, we saw both of the second or the mid-floor sites, and they didn't quite go according to plan. So what do? This is what we asked about earlier. We get a little bit of adaptation on the board. Defense is going to take it down to the basement. Now, whether this is a good call or not remains to be seen, right? Basement has got so much variety to it in the ways that you can attack it. Vertically speaking, from the back of site, I mean, just down into site, there's, several, like 4 different options to even get there, including stairways, hatches, a lot of opportunity for attackers to be patient and find themselves catching somebody rotating back to site. The big part here that I love, Erebos, is we got the Scopos on board.
Yeah, Scopos, definitely an interesting operator. A lot of different things you can do with her. I'm not entirely sure how I like her on Chalet specifically, but I mean, it really just is just another shield to play, worst case scenario, and a pretty good gun to use as that roaming fragger.
Yeah, absolute laser beam, right? And it gives you that potential to be the lurker role. And they've gotten a dedication and investment to it here. You can see Azami and Goyo both sitting up onto the second floor, making sure that the top-down clear is not going to be for free. So a little bit of a spread out defense here. As long as they don't get isolated to get picked off, this could be a devastating hold. Grenade goes out and they're going to find one. The trade goes down as MX and Neos gets taken off the board. So a quick switch. Which one's the better, Erebos? I don't know. Deimos being gone feels pretty good for our roamers.
Yeah, and Goyo having all of that utility already placed means that it really just is a gun that you're missing, whereas with the Deimos, you are missing all of that utility that would not have been used. But for basement bomb site, being in a 4v4 or even position definitely favors the attack. There's so many more opportunities to find a gap and find a place to push in from and catch somebody off.
Yeah, well, the big problem you're going to have to do is you still got to deal with the architect who sits holed up in the library area, which means time and manpower, right? So they've taken the top floor into master and into the office area, but they still have not dislodged this Azami, who could be that impact player later on. Then layer it down one more. First floor still's got a ton of action, means Bandit's sitting alone on site, and if he's got the skill, he can hang on to it. This is the reason that we see the area denial the Goyos put up and allowed the Goyo to get out there and get roaming.
Yeah, and this IQ getting to work, trying to get rid of any of this utility. The Fenrir and the Bandit both have utility that this IQ can get rid of. It's going to be important for them to manage to get all of these breaches open that they want so that they can push and pinch from both of these sides if they want. See Nolf doing just that, able to get this trench wall open. He's going to be able to get the other breach open as well, so they're going to have a lot of these different angles to play with. These shots not quite connecting exactly how these players want to, but no, Jono able to take Merlin down, and they're pushing in, but no, it's a trade, but in favor of the defense. Team VIP taking out all of these players. It's all left up to Pozo with 3 players to find, 10 seconds to do so, able to find one, getting the down, getting the finish. Has to try and find this player, but no, it's not going to happen. The Goyo canister shuts him down.
That's right, because Goyo just doesn't defend sites. He absolutely burns them to the ground. A baptism of fire for the final kill in the 1v3. That one's going to tie us up. The basement wins. Now, what do? Do you start the process back over again? Looks like that's exactly what Team VIPs want to do. Back to bar gaming, and they're going to try to run it back again.
Yeah, and back to this bomb site, they did manage to win. They also won that basement bomb site, so in a pretty good position. If their adaptation from that second round carries over into this round, they can guarantee themselves at least to tie this first half, which is at least what you expect from your defense, and you hope to go on to that attacking side and get a little bit of an advantage. Hopefully you're better on that attack, you're better being aggressive than the other team.
Okay, we're talking standard split now, right? And I'm not sure how that's going to play out in T2 EU specifically, but for Chalet and NA, 4-2 still sits as that standard, right? When you're coming to the half on the defensive side of it. So if I had to guess, Wisteria already hit the quota, right? Anything outside of the wins right now is just going to be icing on the cake. So really does put the pressure on to VIP here to be able to solidify these last 2 rounds, because they're going to be important, especially if your attack isn't up to the same caliber that Wisteria is bringing.
Yeah, completely agree with you there. Uzami being brought on board yet again. Boltan has been the key player for the side of Team VIP here. Mateen sitting on 3-3, the one that we highlighted before this match started, has been consistent, but been more on that supportive role. Haven't had the opportunity really to go out there and frag out. And for the side of Wisteria, it has been all Merlin showing up here, and looking to do so in this round as the Ash coming through, getting into basement extremely quickly. The Blitz coming through, going to try and get this flash onto the mirror, able to find the mirror and taking down the site is completely overrun. This Blitz trying to get in, cause chaos, and has done just that. All of these kills, though, have gone in favor of Team VIP. It's all left up to the Switch and the Blitz to try and secure this round. Case is in the control of the Blitz, has to try and win these gunfights, but a lot of damage taken. But Pozo able to find one, keeping this up just a little bit. 3v2. The Blitz is in a cage and locked out, but Pozo finds one of the 3 needed in this round. Has to still find 2 more. Minute 30 on the clock. Still a lot of time to play with, but no, Boltan shuts him down with a nice headshot from the lobby area. Another round win here on a little bit more of a quick one there.
You know, I love the idea of get in, take side, find the best player, punch him in the face, and then get your plant going. Unfortunately, when it's coming to Chalet, when you're playing bar gaming, vertical is essential. And the fact that we didn't have anything dedicated towards that, it was too linear of an approach. And you know what? Defense is going to take it, and they're going to make it look easy on that one, right? It just absolutely fell apart when the attack pushed in. Collapse was had. Defense claims it. Now, one away from the end of the first half here is going to see the other second floor site, and probably a very similar situation, although this time, not bringing the mirror.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to get a rush to actually work on that particular bomb site because of the verticality, because of the hatches, and that's why it's so important to hold on to library, because it gives you so much wiggle room to be able to look down onto site and shut down anything, anybody that manages to find their way there. And we
10
saw
seconds
just
to
that
insertion.
happen. Yes, you maybe get in, get one kill, and then you look around sight and you're like, wow, I have sight. And then you don't, because everybody from the top floor shoots down, and the round just completely falls apart.
Do like that we're seeing a spearhead brought out here. Blitz going to be back on the board to get some of that quick early action. But as you can see here, the investment in the roam game, Erebos, is really heavy. They're spread all the way out on the second floor, including holding on to library and including holding on to the vert on the other side in the bedroom and master area as well. But look at this. Nobody down in sight. Hello? What? Plant going down. Defenders, you forgot what to do here. All of a sudden, attackers become defenders, defenders become attackers, and they've got to find their way back into sight. Neo able to take Jono off the board. A C4 rings out, but it's light work for Blitz, who takes a little bit of damage. Nolf able to find one off the board, and now finally stopping the flow of bleeding. Bolton's able to take Pozo, but it almost feels like a too little, too late scenario. A zombie with a bunch of damage. Another down as Blitz gets taken off the board. You got to have 7 seconds in which to get to defuse, and now it's going to be Jaeger alone on an island. A 1v3, a 1v2 as he's able to capitalize on the Blitz, but less than 5 seconds to get it done. A date with destiny is going to say Merlin takes him with the 417, and it's a good night's sleep tight.
Yeah, what a round out of Wisteria, just doing the same exact thing that they did in the last round, but this kitchen bomb site is a little bit more difficult to have that verticality in play, ready to go right away. This time, Wisteria do not wait to try and get that case down. They expect everybody to be offside. They expect everybody to be playing that verticality, and they just get the case down. They hold the sight lines for the rotates back on a site, and they managed to make this a 3-3 half, even going into the second half. And this is anybody's game.
It really is. I think the side swap, though, given a little bit of favor to Wisteria, not because they're the proverbial giants in this match, but because a 3-3 half here means that now all you got to do is lock down your defense. And if you can bring any sort of disruption to the pace that VIP is trying to set on the attack side, then this one's going to be set up and done with. Now, we get into the bans. This is a little bit more like what I expect out of the bans for Chalet. You're getting that trench warfare operator off the board. Azami is gone. Take away that intel as those C4s from Valkyrie can just be absolutely devastating. On the other side of it, still getting rid of a shield. They're still getting rid of one of those spearheads. But the other thing, Grim has become such a viable option, right? Kit good, guns good, gadget good. He's a 3-speed and still able to rock that ACOG as well. So a little bit of devastation from a distance. I like the bans, how they played out, and I can't call it based on that.
Yeah, IQ still looking to be brought on board, even though not going to have that valve up and available, but still a lot of util to actually spot out by the IQ. Going to get swapped off last second, though, in favor of the Ash. Guess there was not enough utility to warrant bringing that IQ, but still going to have to deal with these bulletproof cameras, still going to have to deal with these F-Knots as well as the Wamai Magnets. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly how these two teams differ in their defense, in their attack. Still going to see this Brava being brought on board here, but for the opposite side. Going to get this default in the basement. Going to be able to spot out any of these late round flanks if the defense ends up opting into them.
I need to reload.
I love the double drone duty here. Flora's just doing such a wonderful job at getting rid of that extension util. Specifically, generally seeing them go for that deployable that usually sits at the top of blue. They didn't opt for it this time. So a little bit of a freebie to get yourself in, especially because we've got no projectile denial as well. So the potential to come up blue or to take that master, that site overplay is a huge possibility here for VIP.
I don't think that default got actually captured by the Brava. The Brava drone completely taken out now, as Brava is not going to have any more utility going into the rest of this round. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly how Wisteria deals with all of this utility that is still on the board for Team VIP. They have, like you mentioned, the Flores drones in pocket. They still have 3 charges on this Deimos. And it looks like the library is not really going to be held as heavily as we saw from time to time for Team VIP. So going to be interesting to see if this verticality actually comes into play and if Wisteria recognize it and try to get down onto site quickly.
Yeah, the attack has done all of the right steps so far. They've taken up space. They've claimed, well, I was going to say they were equalized in the man advantage, but not going to be the case. Too quickly fall. In fact, it's the aforementioned operators you talked about. Demo's gone, Ash is gone, and now as they start to make their way up, the Fenrir gadget going to slow down that process just a little more. Defense finds themselves up by 2 for this last 48. Looking to put the pincher here on these last 2 players holding on to the vertical.
I don't think they know. I don't think they know that this Fenrir is here. They will know now as he manages to find 2. Merlin with a triple kill in the round. It's all left up to the gun of Brava to try and take him down, but no, Merlin! A quad kill in the round, of flawless for the side of Wisteria, and looking strong going into the rest of their defensive side as the first round of the second half goes over to Wisteria.
Man, that's just inexperience on the table right there. That is a common area, right? And not just a common in the fact that you see it in ranked, not just common that you see it in Pro League. I mean, that is the spot to hold. So not having any intel, not even looking. We have to break out the barbecue sauce for Merlin's 4-piece on that one. Single-handedly claims that round with some individual heroics, but it was just kind of the story of how that round went, right? It was VIP caught on the back foot for a ton of that one.
Yeah, and Team VIP need to bounce back here. They need to make sure that they don't allow the momentum to build for Wisteria. They need to make sure that they get some wiggle room here going into the second half, going into their attack. They don't let Wisteria just run away with this because they need these points. If it goes to overtime, they'll take the points, but they need all 3 of these points to make sure that they are comfortable trying to claw their way back to make a spot into the playoffs. For Wisteria, they look comfortable. It seems like they feel extremely comfortable going into this second half.
All right. Down to the basement here for Wisteria's next defense, and you're going to see a similar situation here where it's going to be a top-down clear. You've got that top that you need to worry about, and already just a couple of quick ones off the board, and not just a couple of quick ones. That's your hard breach, absolutely devastated now, looking to find another one. Almost rewarded with it as they've taken the shots onto Nomad, just playing incredibly aggressive. You lost your roam clear, you lost your hard breach. Now it's time to redirect, and they got to do it in a big way.
Yeah, the Nomad, the Ash is all that's left as Boltan goes down. No more Deimos. This roam clear is not going the way that Team VIP wanted it to. 5 players still up and available for Wisteria, and they are just running away with this. Merlin is just absolutely decimating Team VIP in this map so far. A little bit of an over-aggressive peak there as Mateen shuts down Neos. So not going to have that Scopus up and available, but still with so much to do here, and Hauxi and Merlin at the same time find their ones and take them down as another round goes in favor of Wisteria.
And honestly, just a masterclass on holding on to basement there. The early frags, the extension upstairs just not ending up being able to be dealt with. And of course, Merlin. He's a wizard. He's on an absolute tear right now. And in the holding of the top floor, he said, "You shall not pass." One away, Erebos, from that coveted match point scenario, and it's going to take us to the kitchen dining area.
Yeah, and we saw this particular bomb site not go particularly well for the side of Team VIP when they were defending it, but now they're on the attack. Can they make this happen? Because it is really getting into dire straits now for the side of Team VIP as Wisteria look extremely confident to take this to match point, to take this victory and secure that 6th place spot for themselves and put themselves in a decent spot to try and send themselves to the playoffs.
And Erebos, this looks a little bit more like what I would expect from T2 Siege here in the lineup that Wisteria is bringing to the table, right? They've got to focus on contemporary Siege play here, and it's not just bringing the mirror to hold, it's also facilitating that extension with the castle, which we talked about verticality being the play of the game here. Those two operators specifically will give you such a huge advantage in setting the pace against what could be a potentially aggressive attack strat in. So honestly, I'm feeling like Wisteria is trying to lock this one away now.
And we're not seeing anything super aggressive out of Team VIP here, droning out everything, trying to get this roam clear down, not going for a rush plant, not bringing along the blitz, not bringing along anything that allows them to really get in, get aggressive, get in the face of their opposition. And it looks like they're just going to try and play the game that Wisteria has set. They're going to try and roam clear. Tuberau going to deny this wall for the time being, but not for much longer, as the Selma charges should be able to get it in due time.
Well, starting to check the correct boxes, get some drones in, suss out where these other defenders are, and how invested in the roam game is this defense. That's exactly what VIP is trying to figure out right now. Now, they've had to waste a couple of can openers, lots of utility being brought out here to try to get in and claim this verticality. A peek now at the top of Mez, and that's going to be the ace to find his second kill of the game. He's able to take Neos off the board, and then a second one rings out. As now they've claimed the top, that man advantage. But the thing that you didn't think about, Merlin's still around, claims one. Pozo to answer back. Merlin finally goes down, but Pozo going to answer yet again. Now into a 2-2 on this match point scenario. Still plenty of time, but the defense, now they get to turtle up. Now they get to go into that bunker down strap and force this attackers to take gunfights relatively in the unknown. Huge bit of play, 60 left.
And no, still on this mirror window that has been broken apart, but looks like this gunfight might end up happening. Might have to drop this hatch, might have to go down the stairs. A couple defaults still up and available for the defenders to utilize the C4 rift, and not quite able to connect, not feeling any damage at all, as this flooring is just being torn apart by these attackers up here on this top floor. So it looks like Zyro might end up having to go down these stairs and take the gunfight with this player. A little bit of damage, not quite able to find the kill, as Pozo is going up close with the shotgun, able to take him down with the super shorty. A triple kill in the round for Pozo. One left up and available. Mateen not quite able to make it happen as Noel shuts him down and shuts down the opportunity for Team VIP to win this in regulation. If it's going to happen, it's going to have to happen in overtime for Team VIP.
Yeah, defenders don't retake, they reclaim on the pro level, and that's exactly what we just watched. They held out on top for a ton of time, wasted and set the pace against this attack team, and then moved down and just held it out. Match point scenario, Wisteria looking like they want to close this one out and gain their points.
Yeah, the Mira going to the wayside, as well as the Blackbeard, which is a little bit of an interesting one, considering we have not seen the Blackbeard being brought a single time for either team, even though it's been open for 9 whole rounds. And but the side of Wisteria, maybe they just don't want Team VIP to have that option to switch things up, bring along a good gun as well as the shield, all mixed up into one single operator. And they feel comfortable to close this out with what Team VIP has shown so far. Back to this bar gaming bomb site, which they look extremely comfortable on the first time around, able to clear out all these players on Team VIP and take the win. Are they going to be able to do it again, or is this the start of Team VIP's comeback to send this to overtime?
I'm going to be real here. We're going to have to see some unforeseen skill coming out of Team VIP. And it's not that they're playing badly. It's just Wisteria is playing better, right? Playing more coordinated. The refrag potential potential is huge on the side of Wisteria. If we want to see Team VIP start to bring this one back, it's got to be an early man advantage. And not just that, you've got to take Merlin off the board. 15-4, the man has officially become the win con here for Team VIP. They got to take him out.
Yeah, I completely agree. Merlin is just a one-man wrecking crew in this map so far, and looking to try to continue that on the Fenrir with a fantastic gun. The MP7 can absolutely shred, as well as those F-Not gadgets, but Twitch going to look and try and disturb the peace of Wisteria. Gonna try and take down a lot of this utility. This Rooney definitely could play spoilers here with a lot of potential to disrupt what Team VIP wants to do, and Merlin already on the board in this round, but only one gets shut down shortly after as Boltan in the map quite quickly, able to shut down the highest fragging member in this lobby, as Boltan is now the last remaining alive player with the highest kills in this lobby right now, and it's going to be Boltan that has to make a difference in this round.
Yeah, that was huge. WinCon met. Team VIP were able to limit Merlin's multi-kill ability, and that was huge. Now a grenade goes in. They're going to take Neo off the board as well, because they keep taking shots towards the backside of site. Just to say also, none of this is even happening on site, right? A minute and 22 left, and we're finally starting to claim the area over by blue, but smoke still going to be shutting down that push. And I love the smoke on blue here, Erebos, because it blocks off that whole area. Push stopped, stymied until you can put some pressure on from below, or he runs out of canisters.
Yeah, Zyro able to take down Pozo, so man advantage heavily in favor of Team VIP. A 4v2 here. The smoke is going to have to go massive. I've seen this happen before. Able to find one. I remember a very specific round where Team Liquid SI took down TSM with a smoke on these stairs, as leaving this up just a little bit. Has to get rid of this Aruni gate, has to push onto this site, get this case down. Twitch is going to start to plant the coverage. It's not good yet, as Pouxy able to shut down one, not quite able to find the second. 29 seconds on the clock, has to find these kills into an even man count. Can Wisteria do it? Can they pull it back from a 4v2 to make this the round that gives them the victory? Zyro does not want that to happen. It's all left up to Null here into a 1v2. Has an idea of where one player is, trying to go for where this plant is, not quite able to find it with the shotgun going through the floor. Looks like Case is going to end up going down. His shotgun's not quite finding anything. Zyro on extremely low HP. One pellet would have done it, but not going to happen. The retake has to be what wins them the round here. Has to find these two players, and it's not going to happen as Boltan shuts down Null. Another round win in the first for their attack for Team VIP.
You called Bolton as being the one that needed to bring it about, and he did exactly that. Got the first kill onto the win con, stayed alive long enough to get the plant down, and then secured that final kill. Absolutely beautiful play here out of Bolton. Now, here's the problem. You have to be perfect for 3 in a row, right? They claim one of them. They claim the first one, but now you have to do it again, and you still have to be perfect. We take it down to wine for the next one.
Yeah, and this bomb site was extremely solid for the side of Wisteria.
Defenders, protect your
Team
bombs from
VIP
being
wasn't
defused
even
by
able
attackers.
to get inside of the map last time this bomb site played. Will Wisteria continue to play with that aggression, or will they play it safe like they did in that previous round? Will they opt for a strat that maybe is a little bit too passive here? Because if they continue to play passive, then Team VIP has every opportunity to send this to overtime. They need to make sure that they don't just settle for, we're on match point, all we need is one round, all we need to do is play safe, let Team VIP make a mistake, and then we capitalize off of it. No, you have to go in, make them make a mistake, make them uncomfortable, make them sweat for that overtime.
Here's what this defense says to me. it says that we've got some passive area denial utility around, which means we can really dedicate some roam game here. And if you look to where everybody on the defense is sitting, it is Cade alone down in sight. Now Fenrir, of course, just moving down there as well. But the deal is like they're gonna waste so much time trying to flush out these defenders who are spread out across the map. And yes, it could be ISO kills, and they find a couple of them, but it's gonna be the time game as well. So I don't know. This is a good defensive setup out of me. If you're going for that completely static warfare hold.
Yeah, but Bolton already going down these stairs. He might be able to catch somebody off. Has that gadget going and wrecking through the floor and using that sound to completely mask his push. He might be able to find something, but not quite yet. As we look at these roamers, all on the top floor, all on this first floor, there's so much possibilities. Nolf able to take down Jono, a C4 already ringing true, but Bolton is in the site. Nobody knows. I don't think anybody knows that Bolton is there, but he doesn't have the case, and he's too scared to push forward, and he takes so much damage. The Goyo canister almost manages to find the kill on 1 HP. This is not how you wanted to start this round.
An unfortunate misstep there. If you find yourself inside, you got to get yourself a kill. Merlin, the win con taken off the board as the numbers get equalized now down into a 4-4 scenario. You said it, Bolton's on a 5 HP in a dream scenario here. So the potential, he needs to hit headshots. That's all there is to it. On the attack side of it, they got the win con off the board. Now it's time to start collapsing onto the site. They've got a little intel that blue is hot and heavy, but no way other to push it than sending one down the stairs.
And it looks like down the stairs towards this area, but as Bolton falls, it's going to be an advantage here for the side of Wisteria. Going to get rid of this use of the flashes coming out. It's going to completely blind the Nomad, and the Nomad falls to the Mozzie as Housey takes him down, as Housey takes down another. The headshot machine, that is the Rooney, takes them down as another round in the final round of the map falls in favor of Wisteria. A little bit anticlimactic there as Team VIP put up a fight, but it was not enough to get them the victory here up against Wisteria on Chalet.
Man, Wisteria just looked good, and by Wisteria, I mean Merlin. Yeah, kills were spread across the board, right? Wisteria had a great job of everybody being a part of that process, and for the most part, KD was, of course, set in that 8 or 7 area for most of the team, but Merlin, just an outstanding individual effort to claim this round for the team. Wisteria just looked better on this one.
Yeah, I completely agree. Wisteria looked extremely strong. There were a couple of rounds here and there where maybe they let things get a little out of control or their pacing wasn't right. The consistency wasn't there entirely. But in the end, Wisteria making massive steps towards making it into the playoffs with a regulation victory here up against Team VIP. And especially when Team VIP is one of those teams underneath you, when there are so few teams underneath you, it's massive to make sure that you secure the points that you should be getting and deny the points away from a team that is looking to try and bounce back and secure points when they need them.
Oh, man. Beautiful round. That is the reason that I love Chalet. I love the extensions. I love that you have the confidence to keep one person down in sight, that you can have such an impactful round or impactful play that you can leave one member down in sight and just hold onto it. That was a beautiful defense by Wisteria all the way around.
Yeah, I completely agree. Congratulations to Wisteria for taking this victory, but it's not it for us today. We still have 2 matches left. This was only our first match of the day. Gonna head to a short break, but we will be back very shortly with our next match upcoming. Impact player of this round and has the most kills in the lobby so far. So yeah, the buff definitely proving to be crucial in this matchup so far as YMK goes down to Akari as Pozo is the only one left. This verticality happening so late in this round, they need to be able to drop down. They need to be able to get this case down as a kill from Roston comes through onto JS. That is going to even up the man count. The Deimos, no, what was that? A nade? A self-nade taking
second floor. Dynamite will find himself injured and the smokes have been deployed. But other than that, it's just a little bit of a slower game. Myth, they do seem a little bit lost.
They get the trade though on this pillar area as they find themselves in a 2v3 situation. One down, they can get him up.
And doesn't overextend there. Now he's he's standing in front of such wall, getting killed there from the back. And now there's more openings for the defense to react, but the kills are coming down. It's a 1v2.
Yeah, very interesting that we're going for a master over this time around from the side of Psychopath. We do have two members of the attacking team working the breach, so it is going to be a split take coming in. Sabaro doing his thing, the Nitro finding its mark as well, just like you predicted.
It's not going to have any effect in this one. Valor, 45 seconds left to go and one less player to deal with it as that mirror hold is just proving a little bit strong, that flank below as well. Right now, it's a tough ask to push on in. Dano finds Rawa. Dano finds a second. The third in the round. Main advantage, but not for long. Beautiful flick there from Akari. 2 versus 2 now. Final 30 seconds left of the round. They have the idea about the Maestro. It's a crucial gunfight, and Akari wins it. One above the hatch. Sagrada can just play the time, play the clock. Diffuser now needs to be recovered at a very...
is looking to claim any early kills possible within the range of possibilities, and again, a revolver is not to be messed around with. But of course, with the swing of the shotgun, that's where you find the momentum, and just like that, Lamb has claimed great territory, getting himself into Oxen, and at the same time, claiming a huge...
Fish stairs, as Rourke's going to be taking a total amount of damage, as now Scythe is in this peculiar situation where he can't really back down, it's too far. He's in the thick of it, but just playing cat and mouse with him as he'll finally pull out the AR and finish him off.
Duck away from the nade, stop, don't even worry about the fight. Would you get to see our first gun kills you had with Goyer getting the first pick? I'm gonna say I'm not sure how I feel about this from BK, but BK answers my own. Rexon goes for the hand, he gets the first kill for his team. Trying to cut
them, but it simply will not be working as the team has now been shattered, put into flames, and one after another. While though Hauser is still fighting a bit of a battle, losing one of the two are going to be found. The headshot in there for Skipper, and all of a sudden DK going to be left down to 2 players, while one of them a single bullet away from death.
60 seconds here. Raven hops down, does find one on towards Coles here, and it seems like Valorant, they might just want to brute force their way in towards this one. They've even thus out. Now here comes the push to Competence. No, they can't get silly. Here comes the C4, finds a massive pick there, takes down Rara. Beautiful run.
Find a pick. The C4 still in pocket, so this Hash has to be extremely careful about this Mira. Just hear it rip, and it comes through, but the kills also come through for the Ash, walking past the angle, able to find the third. No, it was actually...
Sorry, Warden's still alive, still in the bathroom. Any long angles here, though, are not their friends.
No way.
Oh,
what is this?
Staring at each other one way or
He's
another.
just staring at him, and he doesn't even know. He could have shot, and he would have found the kill. What?
Force neutral will be used. Both of these two sides, beautiful shot there from the side of Skipper. Will find the first, but he's looking for more. He's hungry for these kills. He can hear the sound. You know somebody is there. He will find the kill. He just keeps on moving. He will be taken out.
Out jumping into cargo, they're looking to hunt some of these operators down, especially the one with smokes are going to be there. Ally with a kill onto YMK, quickly exchange and finish with a double down. Eon's going down as well, but the Pistol is going to be defending some of these players as Ryujin are starting to slowly creep and crunch.
Electric in here, and the second Twitch goes down.
And the TCSG on the Goyo is going to shut down the DMR as the push going to come through, going to find the Ash as a beautiful swing there out of here in this position with this top floor control in hand as the flank coming through. This Ella might prove to be the winner of the round, but Dodo ends up finding a kill onto Yukito as from the top. No! How?
He's got to go against the collective as well as the vertical, as well as the player on top of the breach. spot in 2 different angles. Tries to pot shot the Black David with that shield being up, not be able to see enough, but Nifty's able to finish off the round. And that was the GG's all around.
Flashbangs in pocket. Can they make it Flash City to get UA into the site and overwhelm Scoptas on this gym site?
This is going to be able to find Quinlan, but it depends on how long they're going to be able to stick out because Raxo's coming in for the saving play, and another fall thanks to the UMP-45 striking for a second.
And being brought on the game means another 2-4 comes through. And Ryujin are absolutely devastating with this. The shotgun push going to come through, going to find 2 players. The 3 players go down to the side of Ryujin. It's still going to come out. Up top, if not a rush plan through smokes and whatnot, the Warden not being available means that it is definitely an option as the Ash getting in a gunfight here, just able to win it out of against the Capcan. They know that this Capcan is a possibility.
This YMK, absolutely no clue of where the final few stand. See, could be set proposed though. And she's going to be walking into the line. The side of Skipper able to find that second, third, fourth, just like that. Humphrey finds YMK amidst all this chaos. And the last one standing will be a victim to the gun of Skipper. The Slayers of T2 will be struck.
Where are you looking? Why are you even there? As Hauxi manages to take down Legion and get a man advantage going into the last 35 seconds of this round. But Kaid able to take down Null. The Ram is no longer going to be a player in this round.
Down, Pingwing's down. You 2 of your operators, and you're still chasing Wild Geese on the top floor here. And look at it, Zakari's still swinging, still trying to find picks. Ranka does finally shut the Fenrir down. Dynamite now taken off the board as well. It's a 3 versus 3.
Jono takes down Hungry. This smoke is not going to be a factor as long as this Warden has his ability up and available. The C4 not quite going to come out yet, but Rexon on the Nook, able to find 2. As Voltan does manage to find one, but Rourke quickly trades out onto Zara.
Pistol whipping everywhere. How about play it? But never mind, we're going to see Hungry just going pistol whipping himself. The C4's going to get tossed. It's not detonated. I'm not sure why it hasn't been detonated. It might have been shot out all the way, but Hungry's going to be there picking up the kill. Right?
First blood coming through for Panny when they started off this map extremely strong. First blood in both of these rounds so far as Lamb in the basement. Henry are getting shut down. A swing going to come through. Hibana's going to fall.
Is the danger now? 30 seconds left into this game. But slowly but steady here, they need to go in as the plant's happening on side. Vision has been denied. Kill has happened as well. Back down to the advantage from the side of Region. But the kills have been going out for the side of Region.
Just like that, the final 2 defenders are looking to find any kills they possibly can. This is that one potential I was talking about. But Lamb being a bit too late to the party, it might lead to Nix being completely isolated. Gets 1 second spray as attempting it, and all of a sudden Hackman converted yet again. You win against.
Continued sort of flood on through. Raxo tries to make the rotation back upstairs, can't quite because of the cut-off, and yet again Amguns. It's silence, it's patience, but I doubt for much longer there. Yukino takes down Shardon, who went for a bit of a cheeky run out, gets punished for it. 20 seconds.
Has been one of the players that picked up the slack as Rexoon falls to the team. Welcome back, everybody. I told you it would be a very quick break, and I am not a liar. Next matchup is getting ready. We have Sikitas up against Divoli. It's going to be a banger. Both of these teams looking extremely strong. Divoli especially looking to solely lay claim to that first place spot on our standings, with Sikitas not too far behind in 5th place on 9 points, looking to cement themselves with a significant advantage over the bottom place teams, trying to make sure that they have the best opportunity to send themselves into the playoffs. Of course, Erebos back with Whiskey Glitter. And Whiskey Glitter, how are you expecting this match to go? Are you excited? What are you expecting from these teams?
Honestly, I'm thinking if you're sitting at the top of the leaderboard, we're going to see some fantastic siege, right? That's what I'm thinking here, especially with so much on the line, because not only can one of these teams claim that #1 spot, but they can also deny that 5th place spot, right? We start to see some losses at Sikitas, then they could potentially find themselves down below and not hitting that playoff mark.
Yeah, I completely agree. But we have map bans. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what map we're playing. And it's Divoli up against Signitas. Of course, it's Nighthaven Labs. Who would expect anything different? These two teams have faced so many times on this map. It is sure to be fireworks. Both of these teams know how each other play this map, and it's gonna be interesting to see exactly how these two teams face up against each other, considering that they know each other so well.
One of the things that I love about that statement, Erebos, is that when two teams know each other really well and they go to a map that they have played a million times against each other, that means the target banning can start to become quite a huge factor, right? There's one of the things that I love about Nighthaven Labs is there's so much variety to this map. You can attack it in many different ways. It takes on the form of several different maps, especially if we're talking like the 2F location, right? You see it played out by the defense the same way you would a gym bedroom or a cache CCTV setup on Clubhouse. Extensions onto the catwalk, vertical plays down below, and just really making sure that you can't open everything up, because on the other side of it, attack, that's exactly what we're going to be seeing, and at least that would be my assumption. In A, you see it brought along, it's two hard breachers, it's the open sesame strat. Open up every single wall and just funnel these defenders closer and closer, tightening the noose until you can cut them on the rotates, until you can have them backed into a corner. Both these teams haven't played Nighthaven quite a few times. Makes me think that we're going to see some very fun contemporary Siege.
Yeah, I completely agree. But let's go ahead and take a look at these team stats to see exactly how these players shape up. And yeah, for the side of Signitas, a lot of these players, all of these players spotting at least a positive KD, and Coles with a 155 KD. Absolutely fantastic, has looked fantastic. And I'm also looking at Short and In Forever to pick up the pace and bring along that supportive gameplay. And Signitas, yeah, a lot of these players looking extremely strong.
Yeah, you mentioned him. Cole's the highlight player here, not just KD-wise. Survivability sets him at over a halfway point. His KPR sits at a 0.73. He definitely is going to be the player to watch. Now, the fact that everybody sits with that positive KD means that refrags are huge, means that team play is going to be here all day. I'm excited for this. I think with the amount of talent that's sitting on this side of the board, this one has the potential to go the distance.
Yeah, definitely. But let's go ahead and take a look at Divoli's team stats and look at some of these players. And Murat's definitely the highlight player here. 147. Goes in super aggressive, gets the frags. Ariel, one of the supporting players, doesn't see as many gunfights clearly by the total kills and total deaths. So definitely not expecting the KD to be up there, especially when you don't take as many gunfights. Scyther and Devil, definitely extremely strong players in their own right, as well as Alred. And they've only looking extremely strong lineup-wise, extremely strong stats-wise. I mean, Glitter, can you expect anything different from a team that is towards the top of this leaderboard?
Yeah, that feels like a fair statement, right? And one of the big highlights here, Erebos, is going to be that KPR on Murat's 0.9, right? Just having an extreme impact in the game. And just like as a highlight between the last two teams that we watched and what we're looking at now numbers-wise, I mean, we're more than doubled on a ton of these stat lines, which just is proof why they sit here at the top, why they're fighting for that #1 spot. One thing that we do know is that somebody's survival rate is going down after this one.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you there. Survivability rate probably going to go down quite a bit. I think that both of these teams have every opportunity to get the victory here, and I think that Signitas definitely has a pretty good chance of taking down Divoli and keeping GK's hopes alive of securing that, or holding on to that first place position to the end of today. But Divoli do not want to let that happen. They want to secure that first place spot. They want to secure a position in the semifinals of the playoffs. As long as they stay in one of those top two positions, then they will have taken that into their side and given that advantage. But Signitas, they just want to make sure that they stay in that top 6. They want to make sure that they make it to those playoffs.
Yeah, this starts to feel like a must-win here for Signitas, right? It's a little bit of pride on the line for our #1 contenders, but Signitas, they have a Nighthaven all W's. All 3 of their wins have been not as dramatic as their win against Team VIP, where they did go ahead and 7-0 on Nighthaven, but Wisteria was the closest one that they had. They lost that one 7-8 in overtime, and that was the team that we just watched. So Wisteria, not being the highest caliber team, having already dominated against one of these, could potentially spell disaster here.
Yeah, I completely agree. Muscle Sheep up against the Bulls, and I mean, hopefully we get a little bit of an interesting one where they are locking horns and trying to take each other down, trying to show whose muscle is the strongest here. Is it going to be Marat's, or is it going to be one of the Signitas players that really any of them could show up, be the lights out player for them, and help them secure the victory? But who knows? Gonna have to get into the game to be able to find that one out. Hopefully we can get into it very shortly. Not exactly sure if all of these players are ready, but you know, until then, you still got our lovely faces to look at, and hopefully we can try and break down what exactly is going to happen on Nighthaven Labs. What is your favorite bomb site? What's your favorite one to attack? What's your favorite one to defend?
Well, you know, the biggest fun spot for me, I'm a huge fan of the XO hold here, right? It allows yourself to get yourself a huge roam game, and a bit of a hot take, right? Bit of a hot take, but I want to see some Cav. I want to see some Cav. Nighthaven lends itself to that, right? And you've seen it when you're watching like the Pro League, right? We watched Forrest get that double interrogation on Nighthaven near those cargo stairs. This is a sort of map that lends itself to the extension. This is the sort of map that lends itself to a huge, impressive roam game where we've seen a Scopos Mute combo that sits up onto the top floor when you're playing down in the XO area. So favorite spot for sure, sitting down in that basement and then sending everybody out to go do your thing. Expect to see Goyos, Miras, and Smokes to be holding on to that site so that you can have that facilitate that roam game. I think one of the biggest telltale signs here, boss, is going to be what are we banning as far as operators, right? Because there's some ones that you have to get off the board. Mira is an incredibly strong player, and while there is a ton of ways to deal with those Mira shields, getting yourself in a position to do that quite a bit more difficult on Nighthaven.
Yeah, I think one key factor that we might end up seeing in this matchup between these two teams actually is the Clash. Clash is extremely strong on this map because you can use her as a secondary Mira. Even if the Mira is banned, you can still use that Clash. Put the shield up in those positions, use it as a Mira window, play around it, you can pick it up, move it to somewhere else. It's a lot more adaptable than that Mira can be, and we've seen it in Voltage being used in that way so far throughout these group stages, and I really expect it to get banned or get picked. There's not going to be any other in between. I think that it's extremely strong, especially on Nighthaven Labs, where there are a lot of ways to utilize it, or there are a lot of ways to slow people down, to completely hold a side of the map just completely solo. So really hoping that we see some nice Clash play, or we see a ban, because that character is an absolute nuisance.
Okay, well, you heard the call, you heard the predictions, you know exactly where we're leaning, but since it is live Siege, oh, never mind. This just in. I think we're good to go.
Yep, we are. Looks like we're starting up the match, so gonna have to see exactly what these teams are bringing to the table, exactly what they're gonna ban out, exactly what they're going to pick. I believe it is Signitas on the defense starting, if I remember correctly. I could be completely wrong, but a couple seconds should be able to spot that out and see exactly if I am indeed correct and see exactly how this is going to go, because this should be fireworks if the history is correct between these two teams. And it looks like Signitas is, in fact, on the defense to start off with.
Okay, so primary bands coming out. Gonna see a nod towards tradition, looking at that hard breach and breach denial. And that can really play out huge here for the defense. Ace, a great operator, not just because you need to bring multiple hard breach to run the standard sites here for 2F, but they both really just leaned into it, Erebos. Both Ace and Thermite off the board, and the breach denial as well for Bandit Cade. So what do we know? That we are going to get the walls opened. What else do we know? That they're going to be tiny little holes that you got to get through.
Well, not necessarily, because a lot of these teams do use these bans, and a lot of these teams are very experienced doing the Hibana trick. So being able to open up the full wall with 8 pellets in total, and on the side of Signitas, they know this wall is going to get open, so they're going to try and hide away this clash. And exactly what I was talking about. They're going to try to use it as a secondary Mira, brought the actual Mira on board here for the side. And it's going to be tough for the side of Divola to get in, crack this bomb site open, and try and get favorable gunfights where they're not being spotted from every possible angle.
Well, you talked about Hibana maybe being the option, and I combat that saying Hibana is overrated, right? The Hatch Queen just ain't quite enough to get it done. And specifically on Night Haven, those X-Kairos can become very difficult to get that wall open, because you have to put yourself in a dangerous position for that first wall. If you're hitting it from the roof, the possibility to miss those X-Kairos is huge. So just like almost every other region, they're going to opt for can openers to get this one done.
Yeah, I do like the can opener strat. Obviously, Hibana is a strat that is best utilized whenever there is not actually a mirror window on that outward-facing wall. But can openers means that they're going to go for something a little bit more horizontal. They might not actually push in from that platform, and might push from the back, might push from underneath, as they do have a buck, which already has looked extremely powerful on. But the first blood of this map is going to be Coles onto Arxel, as a player goes down from the side of Divoli, and Signitas looking extremely strong here in the opening stages of this map.
Well, he was the player that we highlighted in the pre-show, and this is exactly why. Look at this play, though. Clash is holding on to the Blackbeard, but just not well enough. Blackbeard's able to claim one as they get taken down. Huge, huge, huge first play. Both the spearheads gone off the board. A C4 ring out as the intel's there, but nobody able to answer the call just yet. Azami deleted. Now man advantage sits into the hands of the attacking team. Some smokes going out, trying to slow this take just a little bit, and what a huge play. Takes a swing from the pillar and is able to find the down and the kill.
Yeah, Nade gonna come out, Blackbeard gonna try to push in. It's all gonna be left up to Coles as all of the kills go in favor of Divoli, and they flood the site and take them down. The first round going in favor of Divoli. A little bit expected, but after that first blood, maybe thinking a little bit more fight coming out of the side of Signitas, but not to be, as Divoli take our first round.
Man, what a play. Honestly, attack just looked really good on that. They checked all of those pre-plant boxes very quickly. They took a ton of space. They didn't give the Clash time to react. So what do you need to see out of the defense? We need a little bit of that adaptation. We need some pace setters on the board. And man, we're going to see quite a few of those. In fact, everybody outside of the sentry on the side of the defense is going to be here to slow you down. Castle potentially locking down some of those quick entrance in spots. You can see that single wall already dealt with. Capcan on the board, still going to have to deal with that mirror and the Goyos again. Goyo, just a huge operator, right? Get your gadgets down, go out and be a menace elsewhere.
Yeah, and the Goyo so impactful, especially with that castle paired up with the Goyo on this basement bomb site to slap down those castle barricades, make it difficult, make the attackers have to push in a very specific way, and then slam some Goyo canisters on top of the castle barricades just in case the attack decides that they do not want to conform to the rules being set, being dictated by the defenders. For the side of Divoli, opting for those can openers purely for the hard breach. The Deimos is going to be the only operator that's able to get a wall open here. So maybe not going to go for those hard breach walls, or they're not going to go for the hatches. It depends what is open, what they actually want to get open.
Yeah, almost assuredly not, right? And that's one of the cool things about EXO is that you don't have to bring hard breach. You don't have to get that main wall open. In fact, claiming vertical and pushing down for that EXO default plant seems to be one of the big, huge strats that works really well. Deimos is going to go down unconfirmed on the kill, however, and it gets traded back immediately as Castle gets taken off the board. So find ourselves in a technical 4-4 standout here, although Deimos might be able to get back up. There he is.
Yeah, and that is massive for the side of Divoli, actually not to lose Devils, because that is still one can opener left in pocket. That is one match that can get opened now that they managed to retain him. But it looks like some of these hatches not actually reinforced, so it might not have ended up being the biggest deal in the end, as these castle barricades slowing down so much. But Blackbeard being brought on board means that those barricades are not really too much to actually deal with.
Yeah, I like that. Leave them soft. Give yourself a way back down when you're on that big extension. You still got two hold up here. Vending side, Goyo and Sentry looking to play spoiler to prevent that EXO push on down. Although vertical has been completely opened up here. A potential for that fish in a barrel scenario really starting to become a real possibility.
The Blackbeard taking so much damage. All the way down to 1 HP. The Twitch drone gonna find that bulletproof before getting found out itself. As the Twitch now gonna push down, try and put some pressure on these defenders, make it a little bit easier for these players that are on the opposite side of the bomb site to actually get in, get this case down. But Murat's on extremely low HP as that case hopefully can drop that off to somebody or get enough coverage as the Deimos gonna fall here. Devil's getting spotted out, and no, Murats takes down Scyther with the Goyo canister, shooting it out in the fire, gonna take him down. The castle going down up there on that top floor, or rather the sentry. It looked like the castle with that helmet, but no, it was actually the sentry into a 2v2 with Allred falling onto the ground. The case going to be just pressed but not actually confirmed as Sigabatas end up cleaning up the round, securing it, and bouncing back after that first round loss.
You gotta respect not egoing and going back up to the second floor, right? You keep it business as usual. You didn't win it, move on, get the site you know you can win, and then once you take your terse site, then head back up, try it again. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. They win that basement, they win EXO, and they do it dramatically off the back of a TK, which means now we get to head up to the first floor. And probably going to see a pretty similar strat to what we saw on the basement. A few different operators, but the same sense, right? Verticality going to be the big, huge key here. Now, one of my favorite things was when we were doing the Challenger series and Stompin was on his historic run. This was one of their favorite sites to attack into. Grab a shield, jump through the window, punch him in the face. You only need a little bit of verticality up there in IT to be able to get yourself a plant off of the pillar to be able to happen. So if the defense doesn't read into that very well and they dedicate all of it up, we could see a potential for a clip right here.
Yeah, and the Ella is a little bit interesting here. Has that shield to play with, has that information utility to find out where the push is coming from. I really like the pick coming through here for the side of Sigabatas. I think there's a lot that they can make happen with it. Gonna put that mirror window on the breach, knock it open, make sure that they can keep that wall closed for as long as possible, maybe manage to find that C4 kill. And I mean, this bomb site really is all about, can you maintain that top floor control, and can you shoot down, use that verticality to actually deny any kind of quick plans.
All right, gonna start taking a look here towards that main breach upstairs. And maybe a bit of a mirror trick here, potentially on the pillar wall. They've got some intel that they're gonna start opening up, and that's that small bit of space that you need to be able to claim a plant down below. We've got a couple people sitting up top here, but not the biggest investment into the extension here. Which, honestly, if it doesn't work for you, I like it, right? Now they move Mira back up, or not Mira, excuse me. They move Ella back up into that second floor position as well. And the Ella, bit of a comfort pick. Yeah, love the gun, but of course, it's also great for the shield break. And if you're bringing Blackbeard like they did on the last round, could feel a little bit better when taking that engagement.
Yeah, but no shield being brought on board here for the side of Divoli. Gonna open up this wall, use the can opener, try and clear out the second floor, and try and get rid of these roamers. Try and get this verticality, and Scyther does just that. Opening pick on the rafters position as Coles takes down All Red. So it is going to be trade, even man count between these two squads, as there's a player lurking down underneath rafters, trying to catch somebody out, but not quite able to find it. Is this push can start to slow down just a little bit? They have some of this top floor control, but not quite all of it that they might have wanted. Still the possibility of these flanks to come up and catch them out.
Well, it did force quite a few of the players off, and in fact, Coles, who did find that opening kill, is going to take the scenic route all the way down into the basement to play Lurk, to play C4, and to potentially stop that execute. They've claimed a ton of space up here, Erebos. Still haven't sussed out, though, the Ella, right? That is that potential impact player here if they're able to claim that vertical up there as well.
Yeah, and Marat's not quite aware of the position of the defenders. This window from the bomb chassis able to take him down, and it's man advantage in favor of Sigmatas as another kill from the side of Sigmatas. Divoli is one up Devils, the Ash, the gun you want in a 1v3 scenario. Can he make it happen? Has the case, going to try and bait them out, see exactly where they are, taking so much damage from underneath, and the shotgun swings and finds him. Shuts him down as Sigmatas claim another round back-to-back for the defense.
Time to break out the GPS. That attacker was absolutely lost, not knowing where that where those gunshots were coming from, and just a beautiful hold by the defense. You know, they didn't get stymied by that first round loss. They took it. They moved on to the basement, won it. They moved on to the tertiary site and claimed that as well. And not just claimed it, but a 3-1, a 1vx scenario, all but secured themselves the round. So now that first half of the round or of the match is done data, or the first half of the first half is done data, which means we get to go back up to the second floor. Now, what do they do different? They need to bring a bit of an adaptation because the attacks were extremely aggressive, right? So they took the mirror off the board. They opted for a little intel instead and a Zami. And this is a big play here. That static warfare that can hold up onto the catwalk is going to make pushing in and taking the space on this side of the map quite a bit more difficult.
Yeah, and one key note about this top floor bomb site, we saw the Buck being brought on board for All Red last time around, but it had very minimal impact. It really was just this horizontal push from the other players that capitalized and managed to secure them this round. But All Red has been such an amazing Buck player, and we need to be able to see Divoli continue to secure this top floor bomb site because they are down. They did lose both of the other two bomb sites, and it's going to be up to this Buck to try and put pressure, to try and make the defense as uncomfortable as possible and help them secure this round.
Brought along the mountain, the walking drone that is Monty, and you can see this used similarly that you would on Clubhouse, right? A great space taker for claiming catwalk and putting the pressure on to whoever's trying to hold on to the main breach. Now, they don't have anything to trick with, mute tricking not really being an ideal option, which means not going to have somebody specifically playing in super close to the breach, but still a viable option to get close. So Monty could prove to be pretty huge for taking taking up that space.
Yeah, but we got to mention this Valkyrie with those cams playing underneath right now at the moment. That C4 could prove absolutely devastating for that Monty and really make it difficult and ruin the plans of Divoli.
An extra second being taken here by the attack to try and suss out as many of these defenders as they can, get a couple of drones in place, and now they've got some views on the Azami. Some fire from the Capitao gonna force them back, and look at this. It's a late round barricade sealing it off. So they wasted a little bit of time, not kind of as much as they were really hoping to, but they also don't provide that free access to get into sight.
Yeah, and Arxel already in towards this platform. The wall just jumped straight through it after opening it up. So a lot of space here for the side of Divoli to actually push in and make these defenders uncomfortable as the site is slowly and slowly getting squeezed and squeezed into a smaller portion of the map, especially with this Monty. It looks like they are going to be opening up that wall, but this Valkyrie underneath might go for a late flank, might be able to connect with a C4, might be able to catch out all red on this Buck, so have to be extremely careful here. Have to make sure that you did do your diligence, and they did! They managed to find it, but they didn't know about the second one as Alred gets traded by Rack, so down the stairs was the smoke to be able to find that trade. 40 seconds left into a man, even count 44, make that a 2v4 as Scyther quickly finds 2 as Danu is the last one up and available as Scyther with a triple kill in the round. Can he make it 4 or will Danu? It will be the 4. Scyther absolutely annihilating Sikapatos on this defense.
Well, when you're feeling hot, you're feeling hot. He claims a 4-piece on that one to tie us back up in the scoreline because, honestly, I didn't think maybe that it was going to start going that way, right? The attack had claimed the defense had claimed the man advantage, and then attack just got active. Just went in, said, you know what, if we're not winning the intelligence battle, let's just go win the aim battle. And he goes in and fries everybody. And, it's a good pro strat. If you know you're better, go in and just send it. He takes 4, and they tie us up.
Yeah, and back down to this basement. A pretty strong bomb site for the side of Sikapatos the first time around. How is Divoli going to adapt? How are they going to change things up, especially when there is a pulse on the other side? Still going to stick with this castle for the side of Sikapatos, as well as the sentry, the Valkyrie being brought on board, as well as the Tachanka, the Lord himself, going to try and set people's feet on fire when there is not going to be a Goyo on the board. So a little bit less static utility and more active utility for the defense here. And is that going to be their pre-adaptation for what Divoli is going to try to bring this time around? Because sometimes you want to change things up if it worked in the past, because you don't want to give Divoli the chance to react and adapt and have the advantage here.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the Tachanka take, right? And I know it's a division in the community on who is the better area denial, Smoker or Tachanka. Jeez, Twitch gonna have to get right the heck back on out. It's already taken more than half their HP away. But Tachanka's just too slow. It's too inaccurate. And just like that, you watch him almost burn himself trying to get a fire underneath the castle barricade. So maybe a bit of a miss here. We'll see if it plays out. So far, not able to do anything with those fires as Monty's just able to push up and take space. Wouldn't happen with the smoke.
Yeah, but I will say, you can deny a shield for a heck of a lot longer with the Tachanka than you can with the smoke, even if the smoke is a little bit more... That's what I was about to say. The smoke has a little bit more range to it, a little bit bigger radius, but if you're playing back down onto the site and there's a doorway that the Monty has to push through, that fire can definitely be all that you need to stop him for a significant amount of time.
Yeah,
What?
I don't know.
Wait, what?
I'm gonna hard disagree on that one. And then now is able to claim one, and that's gonna be a huge advantage. They take the Twitch off the board, who was just caught unaware outside Erebos. That was a tough pick. That was a tough pick if you're the attack.
I think he was on drone. I don't understand. There was zero reaction there, but Devil's able to find one and even this one up. But losing your Twitch like that is just absolutely devastating. You're not going to have any of that utility to get rid of these Valve cans. I'm not entirely sure how much he was actually able to do in that moment, as C4 not quite able to land exactly where this Valkyrie wanted to, and that C4 is now completely forfeit. Should get shot out by anybody, but no, actually giving up the verticality, going to be able to go pick that up, and Monty already on this pillar. That's the case, might be able to get it down, but seen from this bulletproof and the fire going to rain down, push him off that position, push him into a more open spot that might be a little bit more dangerous for this Monty in the last 20 seconds. As a kill comes through, Scythe, they're able to shut down Rack, so that's going to be the sentry off the board, but still so much util here for the defense. The case is still going down for him, able to find one, but no, gets shut down. Team verticality, the fire's not quite enough. It downs the players, Scyther and Devils clean up. I'm not entirely sure what that kill from Scyther ended up being. I don't actually recognize that icon. What was that?
I am not sure.
Oh, it was a track
the
stinger.
Track stinger. Oh no. Oh, okay. Well, you know, I love myself some gridlock, and that is the exact reason why. And if we look at the scoreline, 3-2, that, my friends, is why you don't bring the Tachanka. The fire, while it did push the Monty off the pillar, it didn't put him into a position that he couldn't combat. He had no help to be able to take on the shield play, and then it's just fire for fire's sake. And, you know, it unfortunately doesn't work out for the defense, as it normally doesn't work out for the defense when you bring in such a slow operator. So what do now? They take it back up to the second floor. Gonna try this one again on the last round of the half, and this time, Erebos, we're gonna see the new operator, Denari's on board.
It's going to be extremely interesting. It's exciting to see how these teams actually utilize it. Going to be seeing the secondary shotgun being brought out from the Denari, so has a lot of change of map capability here for the Denari, but still 3 left in pocket of those tripwires, so still a little bit of capability to really change up the map. We see a couple being put down there, just trying to slow down some shields, if there are any, which there is the Monty, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly how effective it ends up being.
That's a Denari through the drone hole. That is just absolutely beautiful. I love Siege players finding new ways to use the new operators, and that's especially a devastating one, because it's going to take a little bit to get that Denari gadget done. Yeah, you can... Ooh, no, not the buck! Clash able to find that first one on some vertical play. That's right, it can go both ways up and down, and Buck pays the price for his hubris of just standing there and waiting. They've got the main breach opened up, so now they can start putting some work onto these defenders, push them off that catwalk, and start suffocating, being a little bit of oppressive with this attack.
Yeah, and this Monty going to be met with the tripwires here. Has a lot to deal with. Can't just walk straight through them as easily as the barbed wire. But no, finding the kill. What are you doing, a zombie? You have to look. There's a player there. And they're going to break the tripwire as they can see it from that angle. The Clash is the only one that is really capable of dealing with this shield right now. As Clash is such a massive counter. C4 going to come out. Don't think it's gonna. Oh, it actually is. Arsenal walks onto it as Coles finds the double kill in the round, able to connect with the C4, and it's back into a 3v3. A massively close back and forth round here. The shield clashing here as Clash comes out the better off so far, as has the better positioning, as the Monty just sprinting at the Clash with the pistol out. As Monty going to try and find this, as Cole's able to take out a triple kill in the round. Clash is doing such a massive job delaying in the smoke. But no, wait. Morats goes down, and the defenders win the round the first time. Sikivitas able to clear out this top floor bomb site, and it's off the back of some massive Clash play.
Beautiful. Beautiful by the defense, right? When all seemed lost, you get an aggressive Clash who's able to not necessarily do a ton of damage because that electricity, of course, doesn't hurt you anymore, but enough to keep the Black or the Monty at bay, enough to allow that your shotgun partner comes up and claims too. Beautiful use of the Clash play and of teamwork there. And with that, Erebos, we find ourselves yet again on another 3-3 tie-up.
Yeah, and I mean, wonderful job from Sikvitas. They managed to take that basement. One of the 2 times that they played it, they managed to take that tertiary bomb site, and they managed to take that top floor 1 of the 3 times that they played it. And even scoreline is definitely boding well for our viewership and our excitement for this match, because it is a massive match between these 2 teams that has massive stakes for both of them, and have such an exciting game from both of these teams is really just great.
Yeah, absolutely agreed with it. So now it's time to switch gears, get a little bit of the op swap inboard, and see what Sikvitas is bringing to the attack side of it, because that's one of the fun things about Nighthaven. If you have a well-coordinated attack team, Nighthaven for sure can become attacker-sided, as you've seen the 3-3 split here. So what do they do on the side of the defense? It is all slow down city. Erebos, they're bringing everybody, just meant to make sure you can't get in a hurry. Azami, the architect, to sit up onto that catwalk area. We're bringing the Mira along, bringing out the Goyo and the smoke, and denying your intel. This is a stacked defense to try to get through.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Divoli on one of their favored maps on the defense, where they are extremely strong, extremely innovative, and it's going to be massively interesting to see exactly what they have in store for us, what they're going to bring to the table, if they're going to opt in for the Denari as well as what Sikvitas did, or are they going to offer a little bit more standard play and a little bit more standard things that they usually bring out on their defense?
Well, you talked about Hibana tricking being one of the options to be brought along here. Looks like they're going to give that a go here for the main breach. But look at that. Monty has already made his way up the catwalk. They're getting rid of that extension util, specifically the Kiba barriers and those Goyo canisters. It's just some free space here.
Yeah, and we see Hibana. It looks like I'm not really sure if they actually went for the Hibana trick there. It looked a little messed up. If they did end up going for it, in the end, they didn't end up getting that wall open completely the way that you normally would with the Hibana trick, but able to get a lot of that wall open. So going to be able to put on some pressure from that platform, has to deal with these players in and around the site, especially these roamers that might wreak havoc.
This is what I was talking about as being the problem with bringing the Hibana, is that the Hibana trick is just so, not difficult, but on a map like Nighthaven, can be extremely difficult to get into the right spots. Seen it a ton from T4 to T1, just be not useful, not able to get the job done, and that's the exact same here. Now, they are able to find a couple of kills. Finally, Devil's able to answer back and stop the flow of bleeding, but it feels like a too little, too late scenario as who we talked about in the pre-show, Mute is already down, puts us into a 2v4.
Yeah, and 4v2, really massive advantage here for Sikvitas and Rats. Probably not actually going to get picked up here, probably in a very awkward position. Zamonti just going to try and peek in, try and get some advantage here as the Azami's running away, taking so much damage, but no! How? Scyther able to pick up the kill, but gets traded out as Devils is the last man standing. A 1v2 still definitely doable here. The flash going to connect onto Devils, but in a decent spot to not actually get swung. Ace gonna start to go down in a cheeky spot, laying down. No, gets down. It's all up to one. Ratso has to be able to find this. The finish coming
got himself in a tough position and go ahead.
Devils with triple kill around. Can he make it a quad? Oh, so much damage. He downed him and he gets it, and he can get the defuse off the quad for the clutch as Divoli somehow managed to claw their way back and win the round.
Oh, Psychopatas, what are you doing? You can't let him take 4 shots with a shotty to stop you on a defuse or on a post plant scenario. Rough position. Defense finds themselves up in the score line as they take the first on the back end of the half, and now we're going to go down to one of the stronger sites. We're headed down to EXO with just really all of the same operators still available, right? On the
Defenders,
band's
protect your
airboats,
bombs
we
from
went
being
with the
defused
breach
by
now, which
attackers.
is not a bad call. The problem is it leaves operators like Goyo, like Mira, like Fenrir, like Castle still on the board, which means they're going to be locking this site down tight like a fortress.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Yeah, and on the basement, Tivoli had a little bit of a hiccup in that round, but managed to clutch that up, which is massive because if Sigmatos had managed to gain some momentum and really hinder Divoli's chances of getting ball rolling into this defense, then they might have had a very similar trajectory that they had in that first half. But losing the first round is not the end of the world for Sigmatos. If they manage to take it overtime, they still manage to secure some points and give themselves a good chance of making it into the playoffs points-wise in the standings. But Sigmatos, that has to hurt. Losing a round like that has to be painful, and hopefully they can keep going through, not let it affect the mental, and continue to bring the fight to Divoli.
Sledge now making his way up onto the second floor. So they're going to try to put some pressure onto this. Never mind. Devil able to take the first, easy peasy as it rings out with the MP7. Now hoping for a rotate to try to equalize on that man count. Might be rewarded with it here as he starts to make his way back towards back end of the site. Oil canister goes off, but it's going to slow him down yet again. Recognize here that Sledge isn't on tech, opting for the L85 instead of that Shotgun Reaper combo. I mean, it's a classic, it's a favorite, it's a stone cold killer, but it ain't quite tech yet.
Yeah, man advantage here for Divoli. Still decent amount of time to work with here for Sigmatos, but they need to start clearing out this space. They need to start getting a lot more control of this map as the Avenger just going to drop down those stairs, going to cause this Ash to have to drone, to have to waste time, to have to find out exactly where he went, and that is exactly what he wanted. As a lot of these players just going to drop off, minute 20 left on the clock, and map control going to start to go over to the side of Sigmatos.
What I love here is they wasted just a phenomenal amount of time and now have all 5 basically made their way back down to site outside of Devil, who still sits in the cargo area looking to play last minute spoiler on their attempt to claim a shot towards that default location. In fact, here it is. Look at that. He gets sussed out though. Dano's able to find one off the board, and that's going to be the number equalizer here with less than 60 to go.
Yeah, and just not quite able to spot out the Ash on that doorway there. And a massive find for the side of Sigmatos. It evens up the man count, 35 on the clock. A lot of work to do. Getting this verticality open should cause some chaos for the defense, but these attackers need to get down. They need to get that case down, and they need to even pick up the case. I'm not exactly sure where it was left. Left in the lobby area, in this garage area. Gonna pick it up. Gonna drop the hatch and gonna try to plant on this pillar. It looks like as Forever goes down, it's gonna be trade 3v3 in this scenario as all the kills going in favor of Divoli. No time left, have to plant the case, and Arxel finishes it off with the Goyo. And I mean, Divoli just look extremely comfortable.
Yeah, that was going to be my big fear here, is that if they were able to take more rounds on the attack, that they were going to feel solid going into their defense, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Now, Divoli finds themselves one away from a match point scenario. We head to the Tersh, which is going to be ideally Psychopatas's best chance to claim one round, as it's arguably the harder of the first 3 sites played. But has become
Attackers
kind of
discovered the
a
location of a bomb.
stronghold in control, right? As long as you claim the vertical, as long as you're able to stop quick plant through the window, control storage is a formidable site now.
Yeah, I completely agree, especially with the way that you can play the verticality, the way that you can hold on to it, the horizontal, especially when you bring smoke, and things like that can make it really easy to deny plants. But I've seen in the past some interesting rushes with shield jumping in, not necessarily on the pillar on the site that you would expect a rush plant to come through, and util just isn't placed perfectly, and you get the case down and you end up taking the round. So is Sikibatos going to bring something a little bit different, or are they going to attack this in a more standard sense? It's going to be interesting to see exactly how this one plays out.
Okay, so did not opt for the castle or the Mira. Maybe hoping that it won't get banned out on the next set of bans that go through. Either way, still got an investment into the top hold here. Smoke, Mute, and Azami all claiming 2F vertical positions. The big thing we're gonna have to see, and this is a big one, Blackbeard, right? Sitting at that 1 and 8. Time to get a little bit more active in the team play if you're wanting to bring this one back.
Yeah, needs to be able to have that impact to try and secure these rounds. They need 3 in a row, or at least 3 out of the next 4 to secure overtime. And it's definitely looking like Divoli is very comfortable in this map. They know what to do. They know what they're up against. And Sikibatos need to do a better job of making them uncomfortable. They need to do a better job of just adapting and securing some of these close fought rounds.
Mute doing a great job of slowing down this attack, as we've already seen only a minute and a half left in, and they haven't. We still got a ton of people, well, not a ton, 2 people left outside as they're trying to push in and claim that vertical. Flashes go out, damage already done onto the Blackbeard. Grim falls as well. Main advantage now in a big way sits into the hands of the defense as we see a prone pwn and potentially own position trying to get in and claim space here. Grim Bees are out, but not going to be able to let any more of those go. Now making that final push in, and they're going to take some shots onto Smoke. Grim's able to find that one. Dano finds one as well, and now the numbers get equalized at just over 60 left. Still have some people playing up here on that top floor, though. You have to push out the Azami. Does get sussed out onto the drone. Looking to get aggressive here as it makes the scenic route, but unfortunately, Dano's able to find him off the board, which puts that main advantage into the hands of Sikibatos as they sit 3-2. But 40 seconds left, Erebos. They still have to get in, and they still have to get plant.
Yeah, and we've seen this story before, but even in worse advantage for Divoli, down a player, but still every opportunity for them to bounce back and clutch up. Fights not quite lining up as Danu goes down. That's going to be your Dokebi down and out for the rest of this round as Devils takes him down. 9 and 10 kills for them as Alred finds another triple kill in the round into a 2v1. It's all going to be left up to Raxo and goes down, falls to the shotgun. Out of the round is Sikibatos, and out of the chances of getting all 3 points in regulation victory, Divoli up to match point. It's going to be hard here.
Agreed. You got to be perfect for 3. And while we've seen some moments of brilliance out of Sikibatos, feels like a tough mountain to climb here, right? What do you do? What becomes the win con? Because it's not just one player who's showing some individual heroics and winning the round every time. It's all of the defense coming together. So you got to find something different. You got to find a way to attack it different. The good thing is, you're headed up to the 2nd floor, so not a bad chance to claim yourself around. Plenty of opportunities for some variety here.
Attackers need to locate and
one thing that I've noticed about Sikibatos so far this map, at least, they haven't been very keen on getting those trades. When they find themselves in those man advantage positions, they give over the 1v1s that Divoli are looking for. They're not swinging as 2. They're not finding those trades. And it's really led to Divoli winning some of these rounds that they probably shouldn't have.
All right, business as usual here for the attack side. Couple of can openers in hand. So they're not going to be attempting that Habana trick again, and I think that's for the best here. We didn't get to talk about it really. Bans, though, for the last couple of rounds here come out. Buck taken off the board as they're going to try to deny some of that vertical pressure, and Mira as well. And that's also another great call. Just great at holding, at letting roamers go roam. So get it off the board. Now you don't have to deal with it. It's a C4 that's gone as well.
Yeah, and Falc, his cans could prove absolutely lethal for the... Oh, apologies. Could prove absolutely lethal here with the C4s in pocket. 2 on the board for the side of Divoli. Marats and Devils both carrying those. Breach able to get opened up, so be able to quickly get in, quickly get some of this map control, and start to put pressure on the defense and squeeze the map.
I love the switch up here. Still going to put an attention onto the vertical Erebos as we got the Deimos out. So still going to try to force some of these players out and make them uncomfortable when the engagement starts to happen. And it looks like we're going from a back site over, right? They're going to get themselves into connector, put some pressure onto that wall on pillar, and try to force some of those engagements. I think it's a good call. The thing that you got to be wary of, it's all soft breach, right? There is so much soft breach around. And Valkyrie, Devil, who's just been on an absolute tear right now, is waiting and willing to take that fight. There it is.
Yeah, trade coming through, so not too bad here for the side of Sigvitas. Losing the Deimos, not great, but taking down the smoke is absolutely massive for their chances of pushing through. But last time around, came down to the wire, and it came down to a clutch. Divoli not to be written off just yet in this round, as still even man count down into under a minute. If not, just going to stall out a little bit as Devils in a cheeky angle, able to find 2. That's a triple kill in the round. They ends up falling to Forever, but Alred takes down Coles. And Forever has to be the one, but it is not today. It is not his time to find it, as Divoli take the map and take it decisively.
Man, they just looked good. They just looked good on Nighthaven, and that was my big question coming into this one. Is it, you know, that they've had such success on Nighthaven. There's plenty of VOD out there to let you know how that they're playing it, and they still just had a masterclass. 7-3, while I wouldn't call it an absolute devastation, it was a spanking for sure.
They just looked so extremely strong, and when it came down to the clutch, they just ended up being better. I think there were a lot of rounds that really could have swung the favor towards Sigvitas, but Divoli just clutched up. They won the 1vx's, the 2vx's when it came to it, and Sigvitas just kind of blundered when it came down to that man advantage scenario into the late round, and unfortunately for them, that was the difference maker on this map.
Yep. Some days you're the bug, some days you're the window, and today Sigvitas was the bug, unfortunately. And it's exactly what we were kind of expecting, right? We were expecting some really in-your-face gun action. We're expecting a huge play. Oh, man, I remember that. The Twitch kill. That was unfortunate. But you're expecting that sort of gameplay, especially when you're getting to the higher end of the standings, right? These are teams that are proving themselves to be absolutely devastating. And if you're taking them to a map that they've done exceptionally well on, well, then you start to write the script yourself. Devil just was a huge impact player on that last part of the defensive rounds, right? It just really started to come alive as he was that agent of chaos all over the board. You turned a corner, Devil was there, and whether it was a gunfight or a C4, he was just making you pay for pushing.
Yeah, I completely agree. All of Divoli was extremely consistent. Sigvitas had a couple of consistent players, but Forever not really showing up today and really just didn't have that great of a game. And you have to chalk that up to Divoli executing extremely effectively on their game plan and extremely effectively when it came down to the wire, when it came down to those clutch moments. And Unfortunately, Sigmatos just didn't have enough to pull through in the end. Divoli secured the map victory and did a fantastic job. They are now solely on that first place spot, 3 points ahead of PK because of that regulation victory, and a fantastic job to them. And Sigmatos definitely going to be squirming a little bit. Definitely going to be feeling a little bit nervous going into the second half of the double round robin to try and make sure that they get that top 6 to send themselves to playoffs, give them a chance to take down some of these teams and secure a top finish for them. But second match done, still got one more left. Probably one of the best match of the day coming through. Up next, gonna head to a short break, but we will be back very shortly with our final match of the day. Impact player of this round and has the most kills in the lobby so far. So yeah, the buff definitely proving to be crucial in this matchup so far, as YMK goes down to Akari, as Pozo is the only one left. This verticality happening so late in this round, they need to be able to drop down, they need to be able to get this case down, as a kill from Roston comes through onto JS. That is going to even up the man count. The Deimos, no, what was that? A nade? A self-nade taking
floor. Dynamite will find himself injured and the smokes have been deployed. But other than that, it's just a little bit of a slower game. Myth, they do seem a little bit lost.
They get the trade though on this pillar area as they find themselves in a 2v3 situation. One down, they can get him up.
And down overextend there. Now he's he's standing in front of the such wall, getting killed there from the back. And now there's more openings for the defense to react, but the kills are coming down. It's a 1v2.
Yeah, very interesting that we're going for a master over this time around from the side of Psychopath. We do have 2 members of the attacking team working the breach, so it is going to be a split take coming in. But Sabaro doing his thing, the Nitro finding its mark as well, just like you predicted.
It's not going to have any effect in this one, Valor. 45 seconds left to go and one less player to deal with it, as that mirror hold is just proving a little bit strong, that flank below as well. Right now, it's a tough ask to push on in. Dano finds Rawa. Dano finds a second. The third in the round. Main advantage, but not for long. Beautiful flick there from Akari. 2 versus 2 now. Final 30 seconds left of the round. They have the idea about the Maestro. It's crucial gunfight, and Akari wins it. One above the hatch. Sagrada can just play the time, play the clock. Diffuser now needs to be recovered at a very...
is looking to claim any early kills possible within the range of possibilities, and again, a revolver is not to be messed around with. But of course, with the swing of the shotgun, that's where you find the momentum, and just like that, Lamb has claimed great territory, getting himself into Darkson, and at the same time, claiming a huge...
Fish stairs, as Roach can be taking a total amount of damage, as now Scythe is in this peculiar situation where he can't really back down. He's too far. He's in the thick of it, but it's just playing cat and mouse with him as he'll finally pull out the AR and finish him off.
Duck away from the nade, stop, don't even worry about the fight. Would you get to see your first gun kills you had with Goyer getting the first pick? I'm gonna say I'm not sure how I feel about this from PK, but PK answers down, Rexon goes for the ham, and he gets the first kill for his team. Trying to go,
but it simply will not be working, as the team has now been shattered, put into flames, and one after another, while though Pozo is still fighting a bit of a battle, it's losing one, but the 2 are going to be found. The headshot in there for Skipper, and all of a sudden DK going to be left down to 2 players, while one of them a single bullet away from down.
60 seconds here. Raven hops down, does find one on towards Coles here, and it seems like Valorant, they might just want to brute force their way in towards this one. They've even thus out. Now here comes the push to Coptus. No, they can't get silly. Here comes the C4, finds a massive pick there, takes down Rara. Beautiful throw.
Find a pick. The C4 still in pocket, so this Ash has to be extremely careful about this Mira. Just hear a rip, and it comes through, but the kills also come through for the Ash, walking past the angle, able to find the third. No, it was
Akari. Sorry, Warden's still alive, still in the bathroom. Any long angles here, though, are not their friends.
No way.
Oh,
what is
this?
Staring
at each other one way or
He's
another.
just staring at him, and he doesn't even know. He could have shot, and he would have found the kill. But
Force neutral will be used. both of these two sides. Beautiful shot there from the side of Skipper. Won't find the first, but he's looking for more. He's hungry for these kills. He can hear the sound. You know somebody is there. He will find the kill. He just keeps on moving. He will be taken out.
Out jumping into Conquer, they're looking to hunt some of these operators down, especially the one with smokes are going to be there. Ally with a kill onto YMK, quickly exchange and finish with a double down. Eos goes down as well, but the pistol is going to be defending some of these players as Ryujin are starting to slowly creep and crunch.
Electric in here, and second Twitch goes down.
And the TCSG on the Goyo is going to shut down DMR as the push going to come through, going to find the Ash as a beautiful swing there out of here in this position with this top floor control in hand as the flank coming through. This Ella might prove to be the winner of the round, but Dodo ends up finding a kill onto Yukito as from the top. No, how does
He's got to go against the black bit as well as the vertical, as well as the player on top of the breach. But in two different angles. Tries to pot shot the black bit with that shield being up, not be able to see enough, but Nifty's able to finish off the round. And that'll be GG's all around.
Flashbangs in pocket. Can they make it Flash City to get UN into the site and overwhelm Scott on this gym site?
This is going to be able to find Brennan, but it depends on how long they're going to be able to stick out because Raxo's coming in for the saving play, and another to fall thanks to the UMP-45 striking for a second.
being brought on the game means another C4 comes through. And Ryujin are absolutely devastating with this. The shotgun push going to come through, going to find two players, and three players go down from the side of Ryujin. It's still going to come out. Now, up top, if not a rush plan through smokes and whatnot, the Warden not being available means that it is definitely an option as the Ash getting in a gunfight here, just able to win it out against the Capcan. They know that this Capcan is a possibility.
As YMK, absolutely no clue of where the final few stand. Save could be set for pose now, and she's going to be walking into the line beside of Skipper, able to find that second, third, fourth, just like that. Hungry finds YMK amidst all this chaos, and the last one standing will be a victim. The forgotten Skipper. The Slayers of T2 will be strong.
Where are you looking? Why are you even there? As Hauxi manages to take down Legion and get a man advantage going into the last 35 seconds of this round, but Kaid able to take down Nolf. The Ram is no longer going to be a player in this round.
Pingwing's down. You two of your operators, and you're still chasing Wild Beast on the top floor here. And look at it, Sakari's still swinging, still trying to find picks. Ranka does finally shut the Fenrir down. Dynamite now taken off the board as well. It's 3 versus 3.
Jono takes down Hungry. This smoke is not going to be a factor as long as this Warden has his ability up and available. The C4 not quite going to come out yet, but Rexon on the Nook, able to find 2. As Voltan does manage to find one, but Roar quickly trades out onto Zara.
Pistol whipping everywhere. Tell you about play it, but never mind. You're going to see Hungry just going pistol whipping himself. The C4's going to get tossed. It's not detonated. I'm not sure why it hasn't been detonated. It might have been shot out all the way, but Hungry's going to be there picking up the kill. Right.
First blood coming through for Panu, and they started off this map extremely strong. First blood in both of these rounds so far as Lamb in the basement. Fenrir getting shut down and Swing going to come through, and Nirvana's going to fall.
Is the danger now? 30 seconds left into this game. But slowly but steady.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Voltage series. We have our last game of the day. Gonna be Myth up against Panu Hone, and might have another treat after this match is over. Don't want to jinx it, but might have a little bit of a treat for everybody after the match. I'm Erebos here with Whiskey Glitter, and it's gonna be a good one. This is our match of the day, and yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one.
And I'm ready to get in it. Let's talk about the teams. You said Myth versus Pan, and this, the match of the day. Couple of highlight players to look at. We've been watching them all season long just be kind of dominant in that middle of the pack range. Erebos, I am so ready for this best of one.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and take a look at these map and see exactly what the playing ground is for these two teams, and hopefully we got a good one ahead of us. It's gonna be
all right.
Consulate.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Love that they take Skyscraper off the board early, and love towards the end we get a map that we haven't seen today. Consulate's fun, right? It's got all of those cheeky little angles, plenty of rat spots. There's a couple of accepted and expected ways to attack. Yeah, this one's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and I am extremely confident that these two teams are going to make you eat your words about Tachanka, because the Lord is absolutely diabolical on Consulate, especially on that top floor. A lot of these teams effective at using the Tachanka on this map in particular. And we've even seen it banned out a couple of times because it is so impossible to actually take the map control and get that diffuser down when there is a Tachanka on the board on that top floor.
I will go ahead and say this out loud. If Tachanka is an impact player on 2F, even remotely, I'll gift a sub to the stream, because he's so slow and he's so it misses the point with the fires that it's just almost laughable. Bring the smoke, actually deny them, give yourself a good weapon that isn't slow, and then you're effective. But we'll see. If Tachanka is an impact player and stops a plant from going down, I'll gift a sub to the stream, because I don't believe it.
Yeah, well, I definitely believe it. I definitely think that you will have to be given that sub. But let's go ahead and take a look at these team stats. Check out how these players are doing so far in this tournament. Dynamite, definitely true to the name, 142 KD, 48% survival rate too. On top of that, clearly leaps and bounds above the rest of the team in terms of that impact, and the rest of the team pretty consistent, pretty even out around that 1.0 KD. And yeah, what do you see here from these stats?
Well, I mean, the KD is impressive, but when you're looking at the actual numbers, that's 17 kills and 12 deaths. So while it looks impressive at a 1.4, it's relatively untested at this point. So the real standout for me is going to be Eli, who does sit at that positive KD. His survival rate's a little bit lower, but the highlight part is going to be his KPR. He is successful in way more rounds than he is not. Dynamite, we'll look to see you get active, see if you can maintain that 1.4, but Eli's looking like who I'm going to keep my eye on.
Yeah, I completely agree. And now on to Panu's stats, as Nifsu is clearly the highest impact player in this lobby, and we need Nifsu to show up today if they're going to be successful, because we look at the rest of the players and a lot of them feel a lot more supportive. A 17% survival rate for Lamb. That is not what you want to see from one of your support players. And hopefully we see a little bit better. We see him put himself into better positions. The rest of the team, fairly even on the KD. Nicky's definitely one of those players that isn't as impactful kills-wise. So hopefully we see a lot of impact in terms of the support of the utility. It sounds like players are ready, so not a lot of time to go over the stats, but let's go ahead and get into this match and start our final one for the day.
Oh man, I'm excited. And you said it, the highlight player there on that last one, 1.87 KD, but he did it over 60 kills with almost half of that being more kills than his deaths. I mean, like, that is seriously impressive. The other side of it, you're talking about that low survivability rate. That is your support player. He's got one job, right? It's to get it opened up. It's to force those players into other engagements. So if he loses his life, yeah, okay, that makes sense. First ban's coming through. Grim going to be taken off the board, not wanting that intel. And on the reverse side of it, mute as well. Intel galore for these first two.
Yeah, I completely agree. The mute is definitely a strong one, especially when you want to bring something like a Deimos on the board. It just makes it so much more difficult when there is an opposing mute, and we see the respect come out, the Deimos being banned, and the Clash falling to the wayside. Clash can definitely be extremely annoying on a map like Consulate. And I do like the Grim ban. Grim can have a lot of impact, especially when there are corners that you want to bounce those bees around that defenders could actually be playing from. So I really like that ban here.
Yeah, I'm gonna 100% agree with you. And you caster curse that Deimos right off the board, my friend. So really, in the battle of the bans, I think Myth is coming out on top on this one. Grim just being an absolute gunner, great kit, and of course Deimos great for sussing out where those roamers are going to be at, looking for whenever they're playing that vigil, whenever they've got some sort of cav, or maybe now that Rook has a C4, maybe to take out that roaming Rook if we should ever see him coming about. But for this first part, surprise, surprise, Smoke's on the board. As they head up to the 2F location. A little bit of static warfare with a zombie to lock down some of those critical push point areas. This is a tough defense, and if you're a Tuberau main, boy, you're feeling pretty good about going to the 2F consulate right now.
Yeah, a little bit of an interesting defensive lineup here from the side of Myth. Bringing the smoke, yes, but they're not going to have the full board of stall out the plant. Don't let them plant. Don't let them in type of setup that we see when they bring Smoke, Goyo, and Tachanka. So, going to be interested to see exactly how they're playing this. They might be playing a little bit more aggressive here, trying to get in the face of Panu and try to set the tempo for this map right off the bat. We see some verticality come through here as Lion just going to escape there, not going to get any damage done, not going to take any damage himself. So, just going to be pushed back outside of the building.
A little bit of a cheeky angle there as they're hoping to catch that first engagement. They did see the Fenrir lurking about down below and watched him head towards that spiral area. So he's going to take the scenic route and he's going to get absolutely dealt with. Eli going to be the first casualty of war as the attack is able to claim that man advantage. And now they can start to take up some of that vertical space. Bucks here to do a little bit of that damage. You've got the Flores to get rid of some of that extension util. They're in a good position now. Find one more kill and they can get themselves set up for an execute.
Yeah, Flores drone just going to come up towards this spiral staircase. Looks like there's not really any barbed wire to actually get rid of there unless, except for underneath that window. Gonna spot out the Ella there playing up at the top. Buck gonna come in underneath, try and break open this floor and try and find a pick, just push the defenders off of their positions, make them extremely uncomfortable. Nomad gonna come out, Smoke's out as well. Smoke still has 2 canisters in pocket, so definitely feeling comfortable from a defensive perspective of not giving up that plant on that window position.
All the defenders moved up to the second floor now that Eli has been dealt with. So a concentration and holding on to that window. Still have a C4 in hand, so Tuberau can deny from the long distance once those smoke canisters have been fully utilized. But here's the thing. Time's starting to creep down, right? And with a canister, that's going to take some more off. He's going to have to jump back out the window yet again. And now that's going to be a huge kill. Headshot rings out. Body balance gets equalized. Nomad air jab almost claims, but not quite enough yet. Now starting to play down below, looking towards pushing them off, and there it is. C4 rings out, and they're going to find one, but Lambe is able to take one off the board as well, so we get equalized yet again. 22 seconds as they're trying to get rid of these Kiva bears. Erebos is starting to get a little bit dicey here for the attack squad. Not quite able to get back in. Now, Diffuser's cold. They're going to take a shot in to start going for that plant.
Yeah, and a beautiful coverage. They want to take down 2. Ace is still going down. Up to Dynamite has to go. No, it's not quite able. Lava with the beautiful coverage there from the window. Able to shut down every single attempt from the side of Myth to actually shut down that case.
Close one, but the attackers come out. They take the 2F. Question is, do you ego? Do you run it back? Do you feel like you've got the strat? Looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. Back up to the 2F again. This time, Eli's going to be pulling out the Warden instead of the Fenrir, so a little bit more dedication to staying up top, seeing through some of those smokes and flashes that were util dumped to try to get in and get that plant secured. Could be a good adaptation here. It started out close, but Pan just came away with that one.
Yeah, I really like the Warden adaptation. Grab another C4, grab the ability to see through the flashes, see through the smokes, which were so impactful. The flashes and smokes rang true out from that window and had a massive impact for the side of Anu to actually secure that round.
Okay, so what do you do if you're the attack? You had a pretty successful round, but it was based off some repel action, right? You're holding from the window fairly well, able to come up with a three-piece there. Not going to be necessarily able to get done again. So what do? This time, bringing out the Osa, which feels like a little bit of an interesting pick for me. Osa's a very niche operator, so I'm curious to see where exactly they're going to be utilizing these Talon shields.
Yeah, and one thing to note, Nitsu is the only one that brought along flashes. Only 2 flashes on the board, no smokes at all, except for Capitao, if you want to count that, for the side of Panu. So this Warden not going to have as much impact as maybe Myth was hoping for, but might still have an impact with that C4, with that gun, just not going to have the gadget that is the most impactful. Like if Panu was bringing along a Ying and the Capitao and like 6 other flashes, but one to note and keep aware of. One flash onto Dynamite is going to blind him up and allow for this push into this Visa area, as the Striker already making decent headway in trying to garner some of this map control.
All right, so pretty heavy admin overtake here as they're starting to make their way inside of the building. 2 of them made it in so far. Lambe's able to take 1 off the board. That's going to give that body bounce back over to the attacking team yet again. Azami going to pay the price in a heavy way. Now she's reduced down to that very low HP scenario, and they've taken up a ton of map space here.
Yeah, Dynamite on extremely low HP on that Azami. Still has 2 Kiba barriers in pocket. Has to try and get those down. Try and have some impact here and help his teammates try and find these kills. Benifsu able to take down 1, able to take down 2. Nikki finds Dynamite quickly into a 1v5. It's all left up to the smoke. Able to find 1. Has to find the rest. There's a lot to do here on extremely low HP, and they're not giving him the fights as Lamb swings from the long range. Not quite close enough for that shotgun to have impact. Catches him off guard. Another round in favor of Panu.
Yeah, huge couple of rounds here by the attack. They're just looking extremely coordinated right now. And to do it on Consulate feels like a really big W for the attack side. So you've already hit your quota, right, of attacks. You've already won your 2. Anything outside of this is going to be huge for your defensive side of it. So not wanting to repeat that again, which I think is the right call. We're not going to ego the 2F for a 3rd time. This time, take it down to the basement, switch it up a little bit, give another look, and because Mira's on the board, she's going to be utilized here again.
Yeah, and I like how Panu already insta-locking the map. They knew that this was going to be a basement attack for them. They knew that Myth would not go back up to that top floor, so Panu seems to have the reads perfectly in this game so far. It's going to be interesting to see if they have read into exactly what Myth want to do on this basement attack, if they can get the drones in, get all the information they need, and make this 3 in a row to start them off with a massive advantage in this first half.
I like it. I like the defensive setup. It's going to allow some players to get active towards that top end, and even so much as Goyos and Mozzie put themselves all the way up onto the 2F. So meaning that you have to do a top-down clear is going to prove exceptionally necessary. Even if the defenders fall off relatively quick, you're still going to have to get some drones or some bodies up there to make sure that you're not going to be caught unaware in the lurk. Coming down the backside. On the other side of it, though, we've got some fun operators here. Erebus, well, oh, dang it. Erebus, I was going to say, I love seeing the Nook on the board because it's just so sneaky. And after that buff where you can just stand under a camera and just not be detected if you're not moving, it's just huge. Unfortunately, Nook going to lose their life very early on in this one.
Yeah, and a trade coming through. Nipsu able to find 1, but Lamb also goes down. Rossin on extremely low HP on this sense. Also has that case, so has to be extremely careful here. Goyo swinging down the stairs, spots a player. Smoke comes out from that fire extinguisher as the case is starting to go down. They have control of this site. Dynamite, though, able to take down Rossin on insanely low HP. One bullet was all that it took. Nifsu needs to be able to find something. Clutch is what it's going to have to be here, as Nifsu on low HP with that Blackbeard, not quite able to find anything, but Nikki able to find one. Dynamite takes down Nifsu, a triple kill in the round for Dynamite as Nikki falls to the Goyo canister. Dynamite with a quad in the round, and a beautiful bounce back from the side of Myth.
That is a lot more like it, right? That was a beautiful hold by the defense. Absolutely covered all of the angles. And even though you had a Blackbeard get in sight early on into the round and claim a kill, still wasn't able to get a plant down, still wasn't able to get the wall opened up completely, still wasn't able to put any of that vertical pressure onto it. Honestly, beautiful hold by the defense. And as the bans come out, Flores and Azami, and both of these, honestly, Erebos, these are great defensive bans. Honestly, you can ban Azami at any time, no matter what. She's the #1 defender. And because she is so good at that static warfare, creating those angles that you're not necessarily used to or ready to see. But on the other side of it, the Flores, those Roteros, great at destroying that extension util, specifically pushing in towards yellow to claim some space there, specifically pushing in towards that back end, or even creating vertical spots on the soft breach. So I love both of the bands that came out, and it shows that both of these teams are forward thinking right now.
God, I really like how Myth opted not to go back up the top floor. Did not go well either time that they defended it. Gonna go down to this first floor bomb site. Didn't want to play their hand in going to the split bomb site, which is definitely an interesting bomb site that can go either way. You have to be a specific team, a certain team, have a certain mindset to be able to actually pull that bomb site off. So I like that they're going for something a little bit safer, something maybe a little bit more comfortable, and bringing a lot of utility to try and stall out this attack.
Everybody up on the second floor currently. Now Smoke finally making his way back down to be an anchor, but really just is showing that the investment into the roam game, into that extension upstairs, just necessary. On the other side of it, though, we're still rocking the shields, right? Didn't bring the Blackbeard this time, brought the walking drones, the mountain. And look at this, they're just pushing right in. Glass behind, Monty's gonna add a little bit of support. Those smoke canisters gonna get let go early, and this is a huge job for Monty. See, if he's able to bait out these smoke canisters pretty early, that'll make him feel pretty good towards the end round.
Yeah, and I just want to note there's no Warden on the other side, so nothing really to try and combat the glass for the side of Panu, as another smoke canister going to come out. That's the last one for the smoke. 2 minutes left on the clock, and there are no more smoke canisters as some fire coming through here from these guns. As not quite able to connect. Nikki coming out worse for wear after that engagement. But the Ella falling, as well as the Ash, a trade coming through, and I definitely was not expecting that, where I saw all of these players' outlines actually being.
Now going to put the pressure back on to Yellow here as he's looking for a swing. Oh, man, Siege timing not going to claim a life there, however, as the Monty does get taken off the board. Glaz now kind of alone in the hallway here as the flank is potentially coming up. Although Nomad is there to help guard it as well. Still an attention to the vertical in a kind of a big, heavy way, but defense has claimed it. Man advantage by 1.
We're going to come down. Drop also going to come through from this hatch, but still have to deal with this verticality. Eli all the way up top. Tridley jumps out and finds Rostin into a 4v2, and this is the best round it has looked. Never mind as a 3v2. I was going to say the best round for Myth, but I guess I cast or curse at them. Lava able to find 2 and into a 2v2. Vertical still in control of Myth here, so still looking to be able to shut down this attack as Panu has to try and get this case down. Glass with the case, Lamb with the coverage. 28 seconds left on the clock. Akari, with this verticality, should be able to spot out these players as they come through from this doorway. Glaz is going to look up, going to try and get rid of this barbed wire. The case is going to start to go down. Peak has to come through from the defenders. Not quite able to land the shots, hitting too many of the beams as Eli takes so much damage. So does Akari, as it's not quite lining up. Able to find one, but both of these players on Myth are dead walking. Both of them on so low HP, and they have to drop down. They have to get this case counter defused. The drop comes through on the first one, gets down. Lamb able to find it. 20 seconds on the clock. You have to have 7 seconds to defuse this, and no, the swing. Lamb takes him down in the clutch, manages to find it, and Panu take another round in what looked like a surefire Myth win.
Huge. Attack just looking real good right now. Now they've claimed that one over the standard, which means momentum starting to make a big shift here. Pan has come to take that middle of the spot high road here. So back up to the 2F. They're going to try it again here, Erebos. And what do? Do they change up anything? Nah. Maybe a little bit of intel as Valkyrie's going to be on the board, but they're locked in on the strat. No adaptation to be had here.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Is bringing. They showed a lot of adaptation that first round. They played really heavily indexed into that plan. The second round, they played really heavily into the horizontal. They cleared everything out. They took gunfights and they won gunfights. And I think it has a big impact to what Myth wants to do because it makes it hard for them to adapt. It makes it hard for them to decide, okay, we're going to bring heavy plant denial utility. Okay, well, then Panu's just going to go horizontal. They're going to clear you out. They're going to waste your utility, and they're going to take the gunfights. And now Myth is thinking, okay, well, what do? We have to play the gunfights. We have to win the gunfights. We have to have the utility. We have to have the information. I think that's why they brought the Valkyrie, and I'm not entirely sure if it's going to work because Panu has been more effective when it comes to those heads-up gunfights, when it comes to those utility-burning operators, those utility-burning positions that they've held so far.
Drone deployed.
Looking like another admin overtake, at least for the beginning part of the round here, as they're trying to suss out who all's sitting back there. It's a C4 that's primed, prepped, and ready, though, to send some devastation from a distance. We'll see if it pays dividends here. Osa back on the board. Interesting call yet again. I don't know if the Talon shields were necessarily like the turning point in some of the rounds, but if it's a comfort pick, I say bring it along.
Drone going to spot out this Valk so they know for sure, if they didn't know already, that there are going to be cameras they need to spot out, as well as a C4 prepped and ready. As the C4 does ring out from the Valk, not quite able to do much of anything to that Osa, thanks to that Talon shield. In fact, if it has any impact other than that, then I would be happy, but no, it doesn't, as the C4s ring out, both of them able to connect. And quickly into a man advantage 5v3 here for the side of Myth, but we don't want to jump the gun here. Panu has made clutches in the past, and they even did last round when they were at a man disadvantage, so definitely have to be careful here from the side of Myth, not to get overzealous, not to over-peak. Have to play this a little bit safer than you would in an even man count because you can win the trade game.
Yeah, I love that. Beautiful play. And now they're going to start putting some pressure on. The Blackbeard's able to claim that first kill, as now they've taken up some critical space. Takes a couple of shots through the wall bang, but not able to claim one just yet. So he's going to be stuck with just that first kill. A little bit closer to equalizing, and exactly as you said at Erebos, they cannot throw bodies. That will be the big detriment here. So now they've taken that admin space, which means still have Zofia outside doing a little bit of droning, a little bit of cut work here, trying to catch somebody rotating back to site. If they can find one more, they can equalize here. Plant could go down.
Yeah, smoke canisters starting to get burned, so not quite going to be able to get that plant on that wall, because I believe the smoke canisters will last at least the majority of the rest of this round, so have to go to backup plans, and one falls. It is a trade, however, as another gunfight ringing out next one, extremely low HP, but so is that Ella, as Blackbeard just gonna put some shots down as Arkari takes down Rotten. It's all left up to the low HP Blackbeard, and so I don't even know how to say that name as the Ella shuts down that Blackbeard. And another round win here for the side of Myth as a pretty good bounce back and a pretty good adaptation of that top floor as Basement gonna unlock here was their best looking bomb site. Are we gonna see a tie half or is it going to be an advantage here for Panu?
Well, it feels good that they won that first one. And when you've got 40 seconds left and 3 smoke canisters in pocket, you're not getting into your desired plan to get that plant down because he's so specific with where he can put those. And the area coverage is so large that it just forces you to move. Once you move, the defenders are all set up on the other side. And then it's a good night, sleep tight. And I believe his name is Zachariah would be my guess. So take it down to the basement. Try it again. A 3-3 half is definitely the best case scenario for Myth here. You don't want to go down standard split in the opposite direction and then have to pull it back on the attacking half, which arguably is tougher on console.
And bringing along this Mira, definitely a staple of this basement bomb site. Bringing the Goyo for the first time of this map, I believe, as a little bit interesting that they're opting to do it on the basement rather than this top floor, but basement is all that is between Myth and a tie half. And for Panu, you're really looking to get in the face of the opposition. You're really looking to secure this last round because it gives you a massive advantage going into the second half. Not to see the Maverick being brought along this time, the ace is enough to be able to open up this wall, especially when the opposition is not bringing the Kaid, not bringing a bandit, as looks like is that Blitz Blackbeard getting in to this basement, getting into the opposition territory, and might be able to cause some chaos.
This is what we saw last time they played basement, right? Blackbeard just allowed to freely walk in through the back of site. Last time, he went right into site and caused havoc from there, but Myth was able to bring it back regardless. This time, they've doubled up on it. Now they know that Blackbeard's there. Do they know that his partner is with him? That's going to be one of the big crutch points here. Looking towards yellow, a Goyo canister goes off as they're going to stop that eventual split push from coming in, and there it is. We're going to see the first one taken off the board, and they just are going to absolutely punish them. Pushing up onto the Blackbeard, but it's not going to get the job done. Now it's going to be Dynamite alone on an island. Has to be on pace for the ace as the plant starts going down, and he's not even going to make it to site. It's a flawless for the attack side.
Yeah, beautiful adaptation there out of Panu, and they managed to secure a significant advantage on the attacking side to go 4-2 up. And, I mean, Myth needs to have something in their back pocket. They need to have something up their sleeve because otherwise we're going to be looking at a very quick game for Panu, and they're going to be looking extremely comfortable here in the middle of the table to secure those top 6 spots and make a good statement going into the second half of the round of the double round robin. And Panu have looked so comfortable. Myth has looked extremely uncomfortable. And we need to see that change if Myth has any chance in this map.
And standard split attacking half feels like a bad space if you're a Myth fan for sure. So as the bans start coming out, Ying going to be taken off the board, Mute going to be taken off the board. Which both of those make sense, and then opting for some shield play. Clash has been so strong. Monty used so much that these are just both great bans. We're going to take it up to the 2F, and here it is. They're going to do both the smoke and the Tachanka for this one, and the Goyo. It's a 3-piece of area denial. Try not to let anybody in. Just want to say, though, smoke was brought on 6 of 6 of the last rounds. 0 Tachanka.
Yeah, and we also saw that Panu managed to win 2 out of 3 of that top floor bomb site, and we didn't see any Tachanka. So I really like the lineup here out of Panu. It is the stock standard, other than the Denari, really, of the kind of, I'm going to deny you space. I'm going to not deny you the ability to even get inside of the site with all of this utility, all of the smoke, all of the fire, just going to burn you out and delay as much as possible. We've seen how effective this has been in past Voltage play days, and I really expect nothing to change here. And it's a massive massive Denari setup there. I really like it. Being really innovative for the side of Panu, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly how Myth actually deals with it.
Yeah, I like this setup. Denari is a fun operator, and I love all the denial. That just knows that Myth is going to try to get active and aggressive here. And now, Myth didn't lose the 2F because the smoke was on board and they didn't have a Tachanka. They lost because they played it bad, like both of those times. Bad rotates, bad shots, and bad holds, right? Getting picked off from the windows. Like, that's step number one if you're playing a defense on the 2F location. Will Tachanka be the playmaker here? We'll see. We'll see. It's definitely not going to hurt because you have all three of them in here for sure. Admin overside take, starting to make their presence known here as they've pushed up and already claimed this map space.
Yeah, getting active is Myth over from this Visa push, as it is going to deny at least a little bit of the Goyo utility by pushing this way, but there is still... it looks like Nikki actually moved some of these Goyo canisters over to this side, reacting really, really well to what Myth actually want to do. So, going to be a lot of utility for Myth to actually try and burn through, and I don't know if it's necessarily going to be enough, as we see some of these fire canisters getting shot out by the Tachanka, wasting time, burning time off of the clock, and denying the ability for Myth to actually push through, which means those Goyo canisters are going to be up for even longer.
Bit of a stall out game here, but wasting tons of util. Tachanka only with 12 of those left. They got to put this pressure onto the vending machine, right? This is where the big part of that push for the admin overtake is going to be. Not necessarily towards that default plan. Now they do get the vending off, which means they have the chance to push around. Spiral now an active case to be had as they get the Deimos ping onto, who is it? The Goyo looking towards it. Oh, what a shot. Dynamite gets taken off the board. Numbers get equalized here, and you start to see a little bit of damage towards that ace. 37 seconds as it starts to count down. Panic starting to push in here for the attack side as the smoke canisters are going to funnel them back towards the fire of Tachanka. Caught between a rock and a hard place, not able to get in just yet. Second smoke canister now goes out as they try to make that second push up, and yet again, they're going to be denied for it. Flashes ring out. Now with 14 seconds left, they have to make a move. Smoke canister gonna claim a kill. Getting into the fire, still gonna deny it, but now they claim that man advantage. 7 seconds left. They have got to make a push, and it is all just falling apart now. Goyo canister is gonna get the kill. So Smoke gets a kill, Goyo canister gets a kill, and Tachanka did do some stall game. Not able to find his kill just yet.
Yeah, just beautifully played there from Panu. They just have so much utility. The Tachanka stalls everything out. They wait and use the dedicated utility of the smoke and the Goyo to just delay at the end of the round, but they get there with the Tachanka canisters, and there's just way too much utility on the side of Panu, and there's just really nothing that Myth can do. They just sit there and wait, and the clock burns down. They walk in and die, and I mean, just beautifully played out of Panu, and we're definitely going to see one of those three operators banned after the third round of the second half, if we even manage to get there, because if Panu win the next two rounds, there's not going to be another ban phase.
Sheesh, that is a tough statement. 2 more round wins and we don't get to see the third ban. That's tough. What I do love here, couple of fun ones, Erebos. I love when the Solus gets brought out, right? Nerfed into oblivion, but still an impact player. And this time, Nifsu gonna bring out the Shoddy as well. I love that, right? The P90 is a great weapon, but put yourself with a shotgun in hand just can be a devastating chaos agent. Couple that with the Capcan. We haven't seen it at all this match, so not going to necessarily be in their heads that that a Capcan's going to be around all the way until that first Capcan explosion. Then your head's on a swivel.
Yeah, and Mira goes down, opting in for a little bit of a spawn peek, but gets ripped off that angle. So Panu already in this round into a man disadvantage, which is going to feel fantastic for Myth, because they need rounds, they need to build momentum, and they need to stop the momentum on Panu.
Deimos ping goes out, revealing the location of the Solus and that they are sitting on that first floor stair so far. TAC has got in and claimed some space up on the 2F. It's a full top-down clear here, as it should be. Kapkan, the lone soldier, still standing up on the top, and you can see it wasting a little bit of time as they now got to check every single doorway before they get on in. No Twitch to be brought along or Brava to try to take some of those out, so they got to do it the old-fashioned way, a little bit of gunplay.
Yeah, and trying to get this verticality open, trying to get the defense to rotate fully back down onto this basement, and it's going to happen for the Kapkan, taking a little bit of damage here. Might opt in for this gunfight and does, but gets shut down. Not what you want to see if you are a Panu fan, as significantly down in the man count is Panu. As a beautiful start to this round for Myth, 2 easy picks, 2 easy confidence builders, 2 easy momentum builders to find as you try to work your way back into this match.
Huge play. Kapkan off the board. Now, sure, his gadgets are still around, but the mental's starting to get affected here, right? Can't buy yourself a kill in by round number 8. Starts to be a little draining, starts to be a little shocking. It's like, can I even do it? So going to be part of that win con, I think, going forward is Roston's going to need to get active and start finding a way to be a more effective part of the potential team here. So now they've taken that first floor space. We still have Legion up trying to play spoiler. And there he is. 8 and 3. He's going to find one and be allowed to rotate back. Oh, okay. Never mind. That was Solus on the other side of it. I thought he just absolutely deleted him.
Yeah, so did I, as Nifsu with the backup on that roam game evens up the man count. So we're into a 3v3 with 15 seconds left. So much time has been wasted. The ace going to jump through the breach and gets shut down. That's the case. And that's the round as Lamb and Nikki team up to find the last 3 of those kills, as what looked like a Myth round just goes against them, as Panu just absolutely annihilates them, even in the clutch here.
Oh boy. You're a Pan fan, you're feeling pretty good. If you're a Myth, you're hoping for some movement here. You have to be perfect for 4 now. But great thing, it's working out in your favor. You get to do it on the Tersh. Arguably the best chance that Myth is going to be having on their attack side to be able to claim a round. Get them a little bit closer to the scoreline. We'll see what they bring to the table for this one. I'm excited. Hands bringing out the smoke. You can see Fenrir to slow them down. In fact, most of the utility here is going to be pace-setting operators. I think it's the right call for a first-floor hold.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, I completely agree. A lot of utility, a lot of passive utility as well, so they can take those gunfights. They can be aggressive, get it in the face of Myth, and make them uncomfortable. And that's really what we want to see out of Panu to close this one out, is getting in the face, not playing passive, not playing safe,
10 seconds
trying to just catch them off guard, because all you need is 1 round out of the next 4 rounds. Or rather 5 rounds, 1 out of the next 5 rounds to secure this one, and I really like the kind of setup that they're bringing.
Yeah, this feels like a good setup. Active, aggressive, everything that you're going to need here. Okay, so, oh man, Tersh site play. What do we do? Vertical is the name of the game here, and you can see you've got 1, 2, 3 people up there holding it, 2 anchors down below, and of course the 2 frag leaders. This will be a good opportunity here for the Warden to finally get active. He's bringing the shotgun along, so the potential to hold on to that vending area is very high.
Yeah, especially with bringing along that shield to pair with the shotgun is just so devastating. We've seen so many times across the years, shotgun on a shield is absolutely just diabolical and can just rip your team apart if not dealt with correctly.
Fenrir wanting to join the party, heads up to the 2F as well. Sitting also along that 9-kill KD scoreline. They have just been pretty active outside of the Warden at staying consistent with each other.
Yeah, Roston on the donut. Will he manage to secure a victory with 0 kills on the board? Be an interesting one, but they've been so dominant that they haven't needed to rely on Roston to secure any of these rounds. Gonna see the Nomad, flashes out, utility out, trying to get all of this space in control. Gonna see that Impact EMP get rid of that, or at least deactivated that as a trade comes through. Roston goes down, but Nicky's there to trade him out. So impact yet again from Roston, even though it doesn't lead to a Roston kill.
Tough one. Man advantage equalized there outside of Nick getting taken off the board. So now back into the hands of the attack. They find themselves with that body balance. Take a couple of shots at the Blackbeard, who finds himself in a little bit of trouble. Nifsu again gonna get active, and now Blackbeard in some danger here. Homie comes up to take the fight with him. Blackbeard goes down. Equalized yet again into a 2-2, but it's only 40 seconds left. Defense on the trade, now into a good old-fashioned 1v1 showdown. Plant is in hand. The frag leader of Lembe holding on to this 1v1 fight. He's on the first floor, looking towards that vertical. Fenrir gadget goes off. 24 seconds left in the round. The drop down towards Piano. It had to have been heard. Now the plant's starting to go down. Takes it to half, to 75. A little bit late on the push-up. Fakes it. Pulls him off of the plant. 11 seconds. He's got to restart it. And now Legion is quite a bit closer. A little bit of the sound cue of the footfalls coming. And they're going to get it. It's a post-plant scenario. A 1v1. A quick pre-fire towards the Piano. Not going to find anything yet. A date with Destiny, and the attack's gonna find it. Zachariah to take the kill.
Yeah, massive clutch there and completely necessary out of Myth, managing to secure their 3rd round. Now they need to do it again and again and again. They're not going to have that option of that tertiary bomb site. They're not going to have that option to go back down there and try and secure that first floor. Gonna have to go back up to the top floor. If they manage to win that, maybe they go back down to that basement. And only if they manage to win that, will they have the chance to send this to overtime. It's gonna be a long way, a long road back. And Hanu wants to play spoilers. They want to secure a singular round. Gonna see the Chichanka, the Goyo got banned out. Gonna see the Denari as well as the Smoke and the Jaeger. What's that last and final one? It's gonna be the Tubarão. So a little bit of a different setup here, but with the same idea in mind.
Yeah, really still leaning into that area denial perspective. And I think as a pace setters, not a bad call. You have to force those engagements on Myth, and it's just tougher to do that when you bring both the Smoke and the Tachanka to the board. And now, of course, new operator Denari as well, just denying some of those areas. Seen some real complicated setups towards that admin side the last time. We'll see if that is going to be the similar strat that's being played out.
Yeah, and looks like going to be a lot of heavy indexing in towards that vending area. See the bulletproof, see the Jaeger ADSs going down there. Looks like Jaeger put all of his ADSs down. Not entirely sure if they all went down on that particular spot. Looks like very similar, if not the exact same Denari setup coming through here with the observation blocking tool coming through. Both of them actually being indexed over here towards this vending area, as going to be expecting a lot of a similar kind of setup here is Hanu, and going to be up to Myth to try to change things up.
I just love how long range you can get with these trip connectors from Denari. Now, Flores a really great call to try and combat some of that, specifically getting some of those ADSs off the board in their eventual attempt to take admin over. But at this point, Rotero's shut down.
Yeah, first one getting denied, second one going to come through. Might opt for this barbed wire, but no, gonna opt to go past it and actually break open the soft part of that countertop, so make it a little bit easier for the attackers to actually play against the defenders that are playing in this particular position. But it is going to be Zachariah, the hero of that previous round, able to find this first blood, playing this Deimos, taking down the smoke of all people. So it is going to be all left up to the Tachanka to try and deny this, but Lamb shuts him down on the Denari, able to take down the Deimos. Back into an even man count here as things start to settle down.
Well, puts the Tachanka in a real good place to finally get their first kill on the board. We'll see if it's going to be able to play out that way. They've taken some of this incredible map space on the admin overside take, but still have yet to dislodge Denari from that vending machine area. And that's just going to be step one, right? You have to take them because the cross is not going to be able to be had here. That's unfortunate. Impact EMP goes out, but it's not able to take the trip connectors down because it hits one of the lasers instead. So a quick recharge, and that trip connector going to be back up and ready to fight again.
And the Grim being brought on board here, the bees coming out could technically use those bees canisters to break one of the trips and then swing immediately to try and get rid of it while it is on recharge, but it has to be quick timing, has to be effective, and not quite happening just yet as we come down into the last 30 seconds of this round as some players hopping into the map have to deal with all of this utility, and Tachanka still has 15 canisters to put into the map as Lamb finds a kill on Eli. Lamb finds another kill on Tridley, a triple kill in the round, gets shut down by Akari. Dynamite finds another one to even this one up. Tachanka has to do it in the 1v2, make that a 1v1 as Dynamite did end up getting knocked here, so Akari has to find the 1v2 to put themselves into another opportunity to send this to overtime, but it's just not gonna happen as the defenders win the round and Panu secure the match and secure the win here on this play day.
Yeah, huge round by Pan. I mean, huge match, honestly. They just showed up today, and it shows. The scoreline just a domination. On Consulate, it was just a good game, right? A very well-rounded on the side of Pan, outside of the killless Tachanka there at the end. But other than that, just beautiful team play.
Yeah, and Boston did it. He did the unthinkable. 0 kills, a donut posted, but wins decisively 7-3. And that really goes to show that anybody on Panu can show up, but anybody can disappear. Today, a lot of players showed up and only one player disappeared in the match, and they managed to secure the win very decisively. And especially against Myth, a competitor in that middle of the table board, and who still has a chance to get into that top 2 spots, but at the very least, they secure a key decisive win to make sure that they have that higher seed going into the playoffs if they do manage to secure it. But the treat I was talking about, we're going to have an interview with one of the players from Panu, so we're going to head to a very short break so that we can get that set up. We'll be back very shortly when we do indeed have that set up. Welcome back, everybody, to the Voltage series. We have Nick joining us from Panu. And Nick, how are you feeling? How are you feeling after that match up to this point in time in the group stage?
Yeah, the match was, to be fair, felt quite easy. It wasn't too hard. We just played our normal game and won it. And the whole stage has so far been decent. We have lost some games, won more games, and that's about it.
All right. Well, my co-caster has a little bit of a couple things to say about Tachanka specifically. He does not particularly like the pick. Personally, on Consulate, I think on second floor it's a must bring, and you guys brought along the Tachanka, whereas Myth did not opt into the Tachanka, and I feel like it played a massive difference in that top floor hold. Can you speak a little bit about Tachanka and why you guys bring it? Not necessarily strats, obviously. I'm not expecting that, but how do you feel about the operator in general?
Yeah, well, the Tachanka, if you can play it safely, it can waste very much time. But at the same time, the operator, how it works, you have the gun, you shoot flames with, and you can't shoot at the same time. So you're kind of out of the game when you're using the flames. But we just use it on the top floor. It's just how we play. It makes it harder for the enemies. It's kind of only like 2 or 3 choke points where they need to push on top floor, so it makes it easier for us.
Yeah, 100%. Who do you think is the hardest team for you guys to play up against in the group stage? Who do you think is the best team? Who do you think will place top in the standings?
Well, of course, we're the best team and we'll place the top of the standings, but GK is always a hard match. Yeah, we have played them quite many times in the past few weeks, and it's always a tough match, but we can beat them, and we will beat them in the future as well.
Yeah, I like the confidence. I think that confidence is definitely one of the key factors in being a good team, and I think that you guys definitely showed that. You looked very comfortable in your matchup against Myth, and you managed to do something that's really hard. Have a player, Roston, on 0 kills to close out a map, but win extremely decisively. So congratulations on your victory, and
thank you.
Hopefully you guys can make a deep run into the playoffs. But yeah, that's going to be it for the interview. It was lovely talking to you, and yeah.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, back with Glitter. Glitter, what did you think about that interview? What did you think about some of those responses?
I think that he said exactly what I said. Tachanka is niche and slow, right? The only place that you ever use him is on 2F, and that's if smoke isn't available. It was not the turning point for Myth losing those rounds. They just played terribly. They just played it terribly. That's why they lost that. And you know what? Sure, it did some stall game. Sure. Yeah, a little bit of stall game for sure.
Yeah, and was a fantastic matchup. Definitely nice to hear from Nika. Definitely seemed confident, definitely seemed comfortable. And we heard him say DK is one of the tougher matchups for them specifically. But unfortunately for DK, words don't mean anything. It is the matchups that determine it. After today's matches, DK find themselves in second place. So top of the standings are Divoli, and unfortunately for Panu, it is going to take quite a bit of effort and quite a bit of reliance on the other teams to actually falter. They find themselves 6 points back behind Divoli, 3 points behind GK. So they're going to have to rely on Divoli slipping up. Going to have to rely on them winning both of their matches up against GK and Divoli in the second half of the double round robin to secure that top spot. And they definitely feel confident. They definitely can do it. They can make it happen, but still a lot of the group stage to be played left for them to make it happen.
Yeah, and Pan, they're just looking good, right? And when you're comparing it to the top of the standings, yeah, they got a little bit of a mountain to climb. But if today is any indication of how it's going forward, I'd say they got a good shot. I think the back half of this round robin is going to be some phenomenal Siege play.
Yeah, I completely agree. And fun fact, we have more Voltage series. The next playdate is actually tomorrow. So make sure you come back, set your calendar, wake up early, wake up late, whatever it is, wherever you are in the world. Tomorrow is going to be another playday for Voltage. I will be there, but not casting. I'll be observing that one. So not going to see my face, but you will see my impact in the production being seen. But gonna do it for today. I'm Erebos here with Whiskey Glitter. It's been fantastic casting with you for the first time, and it's been a fantastic day of Siege, but fortunately that's gonna be it for Voltage series. We're gonna have to say goodbye. Won't be for a long time, but it's gonna be for some time until tomorrow. But everybody have a great day, great night, wherever you are in the world. Goodbye.